Hey guys, tonight we trade Netflix algorithms for olive-scented starlight, Athena's sacred bird, whispering through your earphones. Lean back. Let's see if you survive a goddess's lullaby without dozing off before the first ad break. So before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. Drop a comment with your city and local time. I'll guess which of you falls asleep first. Now dim the lights. Maybe turn on a fan for that soft background hum. And let's ease into tonight's journey together. You step into twilight, the kind that stains everything silver blue. Athena's owl glides ahead, each wing beat fluttering the leaves like parchment pages. Those gnarled olive trees, they've stood here since Pericles promised Athens glory, or at least decent olive oil exports. The air's thick with resin sharp and sweet as a beekeeper's cough drop. Historians still argue whether the owl's hoot sounded like a war horn or a nursery rhyme yours trills 3 notes, something between a flute and a yawn. Moonlight pools between branches. You're walking on liquid mercury now. Every third step, your heel crushes dried leaves. They smell like burnt honey and forgotten arguments. That's the thing about sacred groves. Gods never clean up after themselves. Your shoulder brushes a low-hanging branch. It hisses like a snake recoiling. Relax, just the wind miming Medusa's hairdresser. Ahead, the path forks, left toward a crumbling temple, right into deeper shadows. You choose neither, because tonight's script demands linear progression. The owl hoots impatiently, its golden eyes reflecting your phone's dimming battery icon. Quick fun fact: actual Athenian owls adorned their coins, tiny bird bankers staring judgmentally at your life choices. The ground softens, moss-swallowing sound. Your footsteps vanish like you're treading on clouds of eraser shavings. Ever notice how ancient places mute modern noise? No, that's because you're usually blasting lo-fi beats through AirPods. Here, even your breath seems too loud, a chainsaw in a library, a rustle overhead, owl wings freeze mid-swoop. Moonbeams catch something dangling, a spiderweb hung with dew. And is that a clay shard? Probably fell off some philosopher's wine jug during a heated debate about triangles. Archaeologists found 17 such fragments in 2019, each scribbled with bad poetry about olive harvests. The owl veers left. You follow into a clearing lit by fireflies. Their light isn't yellow, it's cold green, like glowstick fluid leaking onto grass. Your guide perches on a sundial, its bronze face eroded into illegibility. Perfect metaphor for your circadian rhythm right now. A breeze kicks up carrying salt from distant ports. You taste Sparta's jealousy, Thebes' mediocre wine, all marinated in Aegean brine. The owl preens, one feather drifts down. Catch it too late. It dissolves midair, ash without the fire. Your lungs tighten, olive pollen, or divine practical joke. Ahead, stone steps spiral downward. The owl vanishes, leaving you with ambient forest sounds. Crickets, sure, but also something granular. Sand through an hourglass. Hiss of a toga unraveling. Scholars once claimed Athena's temple housed a mechanical owl, wind-up gears, coated in sacred oil. No proof, just a cute story for tourists. Your foot finds the first step, cold seeps through your soul. By the fourth stair, you're ankle-deep in whispers. They curl like smoke, half Greek, half gibberish, all gossip. One phrase repeats, Tyrian sheen. Google it later, it's either a fancy pigment or a Mycenaean boy band. The tunnel narrows, your shoulders scrape both walls. Remember that time you swore you'd quit espresso. Now your heart beats, improvising a rimbatico song. The air warms, incense and damp wool. Ahead, flickering orange a hearth. Exit sign. Nope, just a brazier clinging to its last ember. You're climbing now, ankles protesting. Stair counting lulls you into hypnosis. 58, 59, 70 TW wait. Math's hard when hallucinating. The owl reappears, smugness radiating off it like Wi-Fi. Historians still argue whether Athena napped. This one clearly stole all her caffeine. A spark flashes, your pupils shrink to pinpricks. Silver leaves shiver, no wind. Voices rise, not human. Dryads discussing Athenian zoning laws, unclear. One hisses. Meton's calendar was off by 11 days. Sounds like your last relationship. Suddenly, open sky. You're on a hilltop. The grove sprawls below like spilled ink. The owl hoots once, twice. Dawn bleeds gold at the horizon. Wait, did we time skip? Classic mythological pacing. Your bones hum, resonating with that phantom olive pollen. Athena's farewell gift or allergic reaction. Either way, eyelids droop weighted by feather size. The owl dissolves into light, its final screech mirroring your laptop's low battery whine. Twilight fades, dreamless gold washing over Attica's hills. Your last thought, should have packed snacks. Your boots sink into grit older than cracked papyrus. Each granular whisper carries Ramses' curses and Mason's sweat. Golden murals crawl up walls, lapis lazuli, ibises, frozen mid-flight. You inhale stale millennia, the musk of myrrh embalmers once paid in garlic and radishes. A chill licks your neck, someone's chiseled gaze between jackal-headed gods. The air thickens, burnt honey and natron salt cling to your throat. Historians still argue whether those triangular tombs were vanity projects or cosmic staircases. Either way, you're dodging phantom, oxen hauling 2-ton limestone blocks. Your torch gutters, revealing a floor mosaic of Toweret, the hippo goddess. Her clay paws cradle a hieroglyph-laden plea. Don't trip on loose sarcophagus lids. Too late, your toe nudges a canopic jar. Duck as a limestone chip plummets, an architect's oversight from 2560 BCE. Finger-smudged ochre tally marks streak the ceiling work logs of Murr's crew, their beer rations calcified into a drip, drip, drip from overhead cracks. Lean closer, canopic jars murmur wine-stained inventories. One lists 37 linen bandages, and a complaint about scorpion wages. Duck through a low passage, your shadow tangles with Anubis's silhouette. Wall paintings shift in torch jitters, pharaohs boating through fields of wheat that'll never sprout. A speckled scarab scuttles past its polished shell, moon-reflective. Legend claims they push the sun. You half expect a tiny, move-along grunt. Ahead a burial chamber's false door yawns, its cedar frame warped by 30 centuries of false exits. Touch the carvings, basalt still warm from artisans' palms. Some swear you can hear midnight chants here, priests bribing Osiris with celery stalks. Probably just tinnitus from breathing mummy mold. Stars blink through a shaft cut for dead royalty souls. Orion's belt aligns tonight 3 silver notches over Giza's plateau. The air sags, cotton thick with ghostly incense. Your pulse slows to the thrum of a dozen snoozing sphinxes. Your palm meets a hidden niche, cool alabaster under grit. Inside rests a faience Ushabti, a miniature laborer meant to toil for eternity. Its painted grin cracks as you lift it, either a spell breaking or old glue failing. Either way, 17 centuries of union-free overtime. Sand trickles down the walls, an hourglass nobody thought to flip. Crawl over a collapsed pillar, its fractured edge shows chisel strikes angled like shark teeth. The torch dims, shadows thicken into something sticky. Your breath hitches, but it's just beeswax smoke pooling in low corners. A child's footprint, fossilized in mortar, winks up, some long-dead worker's kid, immortalized mid-sprint. Rub your thumb over tiny toes, the echo of a sandal's slap rings faint. Back to work, Amenhotep. Now mummified in dust motes, the ceiling dips. You crouch beneath Thoth's stone frown. His ibis beak nearly scrapes your scalp. Historians love debating pyramid alignment, accident, or intentional star maps. Either way, duck lower, unless you want hieroglyphic concussion therapy. A draft sighs from nowhere, your torch snuffs mid-flame. Total inkwell blackness. Then a glint. 50 paces ahead, or is it 5? Your shuffling toes find steps descending. Silver light pools beneath your soul's moonlight. Starlight. Phosphorescent scarab dung. The walls narrow, cramped as a crocodile's grin. Press onward. Granite brushes both shoulders. Someone's quartz necklace clinks ahead, or maybe just your inner ear failing. The air tastes electric storm about to break in a tomb sealed since Cleopatra's cat died. Ahead a circular chamber where echoes loop like lazy vultures. Murmurs swarm. Great house of millions of years. 500 loaves for the workmen. Rotate slowly pharaohs, names ghost-written on your retinas. Ramses II's cartouche glows faintly. Sun-faded resume of a guy who really loved obelisks. Your heel grinds a ceramic shard, blue-painted pottery from Seti's beer breaks. 4,000 years later, it's still sharp enough to slice a fingertip. Suck the blood, metallic tang mixing with residual limestone dust, conglomerate hemoglobin. Lean against a wall, hieroglyphs indent your spine. Jed pillars, ankhs, a duck meaning sun, duck meaning actual ducks. Ancient Egypt's greatest texting app, the stones hum, maybe from distant dump trucks on Cairo's ring road. Or Khufu's architects still arguing over slope angles. Ahead, daylight stabs through a crack. Fresh air slithers in carrying car horns and tourist selfie drones. The exit's a jagged mouth framing neon hotel signs. One final glance back, the dark exhales a centuries-old sigh. Sand clings to your soles, miniature pyramids hitching a ride to the gift shop. Moon-washed dunes stretch ahead, each ripple a frozen wave in time's hourglass. The sand clinging to your soles shifts, no longer Giza's grit, but Silk Road dust. A hot breeze unravels your headscarf, carrying cinnamon, and the musk of camel's hoof, tramped since Xi'an. Your toes meet a half-buried shard, blue-white porcelain from some shattered Tang flask. Its glaze still shines, sun-bleached dragons chasing their own tails. Wrap it in silk scrap, pocket the world's oldest broken souvenir. Camel bells clank ahead, a caravan's shadow snakes between dunes. 3 humps sway, wool sacks bulging with pepper and jade. One beast pauses, liquid eyes judge your life choices. Their groans sync with creaking saddle straps. You're just another mammal hauling baggage westward. The lead driver mutters Sogdian, a dead language tasting of apricot pits and horse sweat. His turban flutters, indigo-dyed with fermented woad. Lights ahead, he nods, Samarkand's gates or mirage. Your canteen sloshes vinegar water, Roman legion recipe. Dismount to knead numb thighs, sand hot through worn trousers. A sand fox darts, its paws leave hieroglyphs only wind can translate. Unwrap a date-stuffed flatbread, the last midnight snack from Bukhara's baker. Bite grits, eternal seasoning of desert travel. Stars click into place, Ursa Major bending like a nomad's bow. Your guide points, Venus blinks above Dunhuang's cave murals. Buddha's tear, he claims. Skeptics say it's atmospheric refraction. Either way, it guides better than that soggy star map in your pack. Ahead, skeletal timbers jut from dunes. A merchant's cart surrendered to thirst centuries back. Kick the wheel, termite dust puffs out. Scatterbrained ants haul caraway seeds from a rusted tin. Take 2, your trail mix upgrades to historical reenactment. Moonlight puddles in footprints, your own erased by wind before dawn. Lean against a dune, cold seeps through your robe. Taste salt left by evaporated Tethys Sea. Fossilized clamshells crackle underfoot geological breadcrumbs. The caravan halts, camels collapse into snoring mounds. Unroll a felt mat, still reeking of yurt campfire. Stare up, the Milky Way's spilled rice. Imagine it's Zhang Kaiyan's spilled star maps. The Han envoy who kick-started this whole mess. A scorpion skitters over your boot tail, raised for Yelp reviews. Scoot it away with a chopstick, Bronze Age tech meets arachnid attitude. Your guide snorts, offers fermented mare's milk. Decline. one stomachache away from becoming dune compost. Dawn bruises the east, silhouetting a watchtower's jagged teeth. Its mud bricks flake, Han Dynasty security cam falling apart. Climb halfway, palm a rusted arrowhead. Mongol, Uyghur, some conscript's bad day, preserved in oxidized iron. A parchment scrap flutters down soggy with dew. Squint at Sogdian script, shipping manifest, or love poem. The ink bleeds, answers lost, like yesterday's footprints. Tuck it in your sash. Let scholars argue at conferences. Wind digs up a carved bone, hephthalite gambling die. 6 sides pocked by desperate thumbs. Roll it lands on 3. Your guide claims it's lucky. Forgot his name 3 dunes back. The horizon shimmers, snow-capped Pamirs, or heat haze. Alone, eagle circles, Genghis drone. Your canteen's down to backwash. Lick condensation off a silk kerchief, imperial grade thirst hack. Sand fills your left boot again. Dump it beside a petrified log. 2 million years prior, this was someone's shady lunch spot. Not jerky, mastodon flavor, lost to freezer burn. The guide mutters about bandits, or maybe dysentery. Hard to tell with the spitting. Adjust your sweat-crusted hat, a Yuan dynasty fashion disaster. At least the earflaps block Aristotle's rhetoric audiobook drifting from someone's Bluetooth speaker. Mid-afternoon halts you, a stone marker eroded to nubs. Trace the grooves, runic Turkic or indigestion. Your thumb finds a donkey's crude engraving. Bronze Age meme. Chuckle, then notice the real donkey bones weathering nearby. Dust devils whirl ahead, miniature tornadoes auditioning for wrathful deity roles. Turn your back. Let grit pelt the smuggler's silk, stashed in your sleeve. Imperial customs. Agents hate this one weird trick. Sunset ignites camel fur copper glow on matted strands. The lead beast sneezes your face, gets a probiotic mist. Wipe it with a sleeve already crusted with things. The Silk Road Spa treatment. Your guide points south. Black tents flutter like morning banners. Nomadic hospitality or tax evasion scheme. Either way, they're roasting lamb. Follow the grease smoke. Barter steel needles for a skewer. Tang Dynasty swindle still holds up. Night falls. A tangry blue vault punched with star holes. Unfurl a moth-eaten carpet. Buckara's finest flea market score. Lie back. The North Star winks through a moth hole. Adjust 5 degrees left. There, accuracy matters. When lost between empires, a wolf howl stitches the dark. Answer from a peak 3 valleys east. Your guide mumbles a proverb, verb tense, unclear. Pull the blanket up, wool scratchy as a concubine's gossip. Dawn's first light licks a terracotta shard. Oxblood glaze still fierce. Pocket it, your descendants can eBay it. The caravan stirs, camels groan like broken cellos. Smear resin gum on blisters. Proto-band-aids sticky resolve. The wind shifts, carrying jasmine and donkey musk. Samarkand's turquoise domes swim into view, half mirage, half tourist trap. Your coins clink, silver dirhams ready for bathhouse scams. One final dune parts. The road ahead crawls with Toyota Land Cruisers. A tour guide waves pamphlets, Genghis Khan's face photoshopped onto a Segway. Step quick, the past's already eroding under Wi-Fi signals. Beneath a concrete overpass, ancient cobblestones peep through asphalt. Park your numb hips on Timur's drainage project. Unwrap the last sesame cake stale as a tax collector's smile. Chew slow, let sugar crystals dissolve into the next footstep. Your shadow stretches west, Persian chiffon fraying at the edges. Blink, lids heavy as Venetian trade galleons. Camel bells fade into car horns. Breathe deep frankincense and diesel. The road never sleeps, but you might. Mist coils around your ankles, thick as sheep's wool and twice as stubborn. The diesel stink of Samarkand dissolves, replaced by peat smoke and the sweet rot of fallen apples. Your boots sink into moss, spongy green, giving way to lichen-crusted stones. A crow cackles overhead, its laugh bouncing between oaks older than coinage. You brush a spider web, strands snap like snapped harp strings. The air tastes of iron, or is that the aftertaste of fermented mare's milk? Either way, spit. 3 mossy monoliths lean ahead, Stonehenge's drunk, cousins playing a lifelong game of dominoes. A figure emerges, robes the color of bruised plums. His beard's a bird's nest, housing 0 eggs and plenty of opinions. Druid or cosplay enthusiast, you mutter. He raises a sickle, the blade glints gold. Mistletoe duty, oak bark presses against your palm, ridged like an old man's knuckles. 16 rings to your left, a spring bubbles black water. Drop a silver coin in the Roman kind, tourists toss in Trevi fountain. Blame Hadrian's wall, the druid hums a tune your bones recognize. It's the same frequency as subway brakes screeching. Yet here, it vibrates standing stones. Your molars tingle. 2 ravens land eyeing your leftover sesame cake. Trade crumbs for silence. He beckons you closer. 5 stag beetles march across his staff, living brooches on Celtic LinkedIn. Kneel, he says, or maybe nettle. You opt for squatting. Nettles here grow as tall as toddlers and twice as spiteful. A clay bowl's thrust into your hands, liquid sloshes like swamp juice. Smells like mead filtered through a bog body's socks. Hesitate. He glares the same look your barista gives when you ask for oat milk in Naples. Swallow. Fire shoots down your throat, then cools into lavender fog. Vision blurs. The oaks now twist like Van Gogh's cypresses. That crow's definitely quoting Shakespeare. Blink hard, reality resets. Mostly, the druid chants names, gods your history professor mumbled before tenure. Tautates, Brigantia, Cernunnos. Pocket the syllables, they'll jazz up your next Scrabble game. A bone flute trills, its sound sharper than your last Tinder date's wit. He smears your forehead with woad, the chill of refrigerated toothpaste. For vision, he grunts. You resist mentioning contact lenses. Night falls faster here. Stars smear like butter across druid-grade sourdough. Fireflies kamikaze into the bonfire. One hits your earlobe, brief aurora. The flames spit out a name in Gaelic. Pretend you didn't hear it. 3 drops of rain hit, each colder than a museum docent's smile. The druid points to a hollow oak, its trunk wide as a tour bus. Inside, glowworms map constellations only hedgehogs understand. Touch the sap, amber resin seals your fingerprints to the next ice age. Enter, he says. You duck. Spiderwebs cling to your hair, nature's weave extensions. The air smells of damp parchment and fox breath. A root jabs your kidney, payback for that time you kicked a sapling. Something crunches underfoot, a human molar, or sheep, or overly ambitious hazelnut. The druid whispers, a spell or grocery list. Light bleeds through cracks, moonlight sieved by 500 years of oak rings. A cauldron squats ahead, dented Subaru of kitchenware. Peer inside, water mirrors your face, flickering between 5 eras. One shows you wearing a toga. Delete that mental image. The druid drops a twig, ripples erase your Roman glow-up. He hands you a stone, carved with loops a toddler might doodle. Agam script. You trace the lines, a message about rainfall or tax audits. Nod like you've cracked the Zodiac Killer's cipher. Your pocket buzzes, forgot to silence the phone. The druid frowns at the glow. 7 centuries of side-eye distilled into one glare. Toss the device into the cauldron. It sinks, bubbling Nokia ringtone, muffled by Iron Age guilt. Moss creeps over your boots, Velcro's ancestor claiming territory. The druid unwraps a leaf bundle, rotten mushrooms or premium weed. He inhales deeply. Offer a altoid. Mistake. His breath now minty and terrifying. A branch cracks someone's ear. A second druid emerges, robe hem, dragging 10 soggy leaves. They bicker in Old Celtic, vowels battling like badgers. You catch the word, taxes. Even the ancients feared the IRS. The newcomer shoves a carved yew branch at you, interpretive dance required. You flap it like a Walmart kazoo. Both druids facepalm. Good thing LinkedIn wasn't around for Bronze Age job hunts. They lead you downhill, feet sinking into bog muck. 4 frogs ribbit the opening chords of smells like teen spirit. Ignore it. Sleep deprivation's setting in, or the mushroom fumes. A stone altar appears, moss masking what stains lurk beneath. Lie back. The druids chant. Clouds part, Orion's belt aligns with your nose ring. Scholar types argue whether Celts used constellations or just great weed. A root snakes around your wrist, gentle as a grandma's grip. Oak leaves brush your cheeks, an arboreal lullaby. The stars blur, druid chants melting into wind through branches. Your last thought. That crow's laugh sounded suspiciously like your alarm tone. But dawn's still 6 mugs of mead away. Let the roots hold you, suspended between sacred groves and snooze buttons. The oak's grip loosens, mossy fingers retreating into shadow. Cold stone becomes tatami mat, your cheek pressed against reed-thin moonlight. Bamboo shoots rise like prison bars. But who's the prisoner here? Lanterns bloom, paper globes, swaying on cords thinner than a geisha's eyebrow hairs. Kyoto's air clings, humid silk, soaked in pine resin and matcha. You count 17 distinct greens, none named in your janky Crayola box. Arashiyama grove stretches, each bamboo stalk a brushstroke from God's calligraphy phase. Historians whisper of samurai planting these poles, swords traded for trowels after one too many beheadings. A wind chime gasp, coin-sized bells tied to a branch with obi silk. Their song melts into the creak of bending trunks. Your phone's dead good. Those bamboo filters never capture the way shadows stripe the path, tiger patterns, unpacked earth. Something rustles, a Mako's ghost, or over-caffeinated raccoon dog. The lantern's dim breath held. Moonlight bleeds through leaves, projecting kanji on your palm. Mono no aware it reads, or maybe, beware of falling bamboo. Your calligraphy skills peaked in 3rd grade. Pebbles crunch underfoot each step, echoing the 10th century monks who timed their meditations by bamboo's growth. 1 inch per hour, patience you'll never muster. A beetle crawls up your sleeve, emerald armor shining like lost no theater props. Shake it off, politely. The path narrows, trunks tightening their formation. Lanterns shrink to origami fireflies. Ahead, a stone basin glows. Peer inside. Water reflects a face that's half you, half Hyanira poetess. Blink ripples erase her mole. Historians bicker whether these groves hosted secret trysts or just really dull leaf-viewing parties. Wind surges, sounds bend. Bamboo's hollow groan becomes a shakuhachi flute solo. Your left sneaker sinks, mud claiming its tribute. Shadows dance across a shrine gate, vermilion paint peeling like sunburned skin. Touch It Splinter whispers a haiku about rain and regret. A lantern flares candlewick drowning in wax tears. Its light reveals carvings, visitors, names scratched into bamboo skin. Kenji 9 hearts, Yumi, etched with car keys or desperation. The stalks try to heal, silver scars curling around the vandalism. Something tugs your hem, a spirit or thornvine. You're too tired to panic. The air thickens, incense and petrichor having a knife fight in your sinuses. Bamboo leaves sew the sky shut, moonlight reduced to stray silver threads. Your toes go numb, too many hours kneeling on Zen garden gravel. A bench appears, polished cedar and splinters. Sit. Ants march across the slats, tribal migrations, plotted via pheromone Twitter. Watch them haul a crumb, your half-eaten Kanpedo candy from Osaka. Wood clacks, Geta sandals approach. A monk sweeps the path, broom whispering secrets to dust. His robes match the shadows. If shadows collected pension plans, he spares you a nod. The universal tourist's emerite, eyebrow lift. You resist asking about Wi-Fi passwords. The grove breathes, trunks swaying in unison. Scientists say they share root systems, vegetable hive mind networking. You suddenly regret those bamboo toilet jokes. A leaf drifts down, lands in your hair like nature's hairpin. Duck through a low arch, bamboo sacrificed to form a doorway. Beyond, a clearing where fireflies mistake your watch face for a mating signal. Their bioluminescent Tinder profiles glow. Swipe left on the one with commitment issues. Stone stairs appear, moss rendering them as stable as your last relationship. Climb. Each step sucks resolve from your calves. At the summit, a tea house crouching under thatch. Smoke coils from the chimney, smelling of hajija and existential crisis. The door creaks, a sound that launched 1,000 horror films. Inside, a single lantern gutters above a worn zabuton cushion. Sit. The floorboards moan, complaining about your weight in splendid passive-aggressive Japanese. A scroll hangs crooked, its ink-brushed cranes mid-flight. One bird's eye follows you, Renaissance realism crashing into Edo kitsch. Touch the rice paper, it's warm. Pull back. Some mysteries bite. Footsteps again. The monk enters, tray balanced on palms. 2 cups, one cracked, and a pot older than your gym membership. He pours. Steam curls, shaping itself into kanji for shut up and drink. The tea scalds, charcoal and umami punch your uvula. Swallow. The monk smirks. He knows you wanted Starbucks. Outside, bamboo creaks a lullaby older than katana steel. Your spine softens, 3 vertebrae at a time. He slides open a screen, moonlight floods in. The grove pulses, bioluminescent fungi now glowing along the path. You squint, the pattern matches Tokyo's subway map. Coincidence or cosmic joke? Let it go. The monk hums, a tune resonating with bamboo's hollow bones. Your phone vibrates, temporarily resurrected. The screen flashes, low power mode in kanji. Flick it into the tea. Priorities. Now horizontal, the zabutons surprisingly forgiving. The ceiling's cobwebs sway, silken hammocks for spiders writing their memoirs. Breath slows, 8 counts in, 12 out. The monk extinguishes the lantern. Darkness wraps you tighter than a funeral shroud, minus the existential dread. Bamboo's whisper becomes a shout, or maybe that's your tinnitus. Doesn't matter. Somewhere, a raccoon dog screeches its Oscar clip. Let it. Your last coherent thought. Those Edo-era poets were onto something. Though their caffeine intake must been bananas, the Arctic slaps you awake. Kyoto's humidity replaced by air sharp enough to shatter teeth. Northern lights writhe overhead, God's screensaver glitching across the ionosphere. A feather drifts down, barbs glowing like neon sutures. Grab it. Burns colder than a jilted lover's text. Valkyries surge past, armor forged from twilight and daddy issues. Their braids whip your face, strands smelling of burnt mead and Stockholm syndrome. One winks her pupils, a miniature Ragnarök playing on loop. Myths claim they choose who dies glorious, but their LinkedIn profiles probably say sole logistics coordinator. Snowflakes sting like shrapnel. You trudge past shield walls, frozen mid-swing. Viking berserkers paused between axe arcs. Their beards glitter. Historians found henbane seeds trapped in 9th century facial hair. Nightmare fuel or pre-battle snack. Your toes vote hypothermia. Aurora's pulse, green tendrils licking a longship's dragon prow. Its sail hangs slack, threads dyed with woad and poor life choices. Touch the hull, splinters whisper of looted monasteries and questionable hygiene standards. The Oppenheimer family commissioned this ride until someone mistook Norway for Newfoundland. Ice cracks. A Valkyrie's steed emerges. 8 legs, 12 tons of nope. Its breath fogs the air each puff, a ghostly rune. Mounting it feels like straddling a live grenade. If grenades had a My Little Pony phase, frost giants snore in the distance, glaciers shifting like sleeping titans. Valkyries argue over a warrior's resume. 3 villages razed, 12 monks converted. A lacks leadership experience. His soul gets recycled into a microwave dinner. Harsh. A fjord appears, black water dotted with flaming longship graves. Corpse candles bob souls too tarnished for Valhalla's HR department. Dive in. The cold punches your diaphragm, lungs screaming in Old Norse. Swim through a submerged hall, mead benches, encrusted with barnacle-riddled skulls. Your Valkyrie guide snorts, her winged helmet askew. She points to a cave where Einherjar warriors brawl eternally. Limbs reattach mid-swing. Valhalla's dental plan must be lit. Historians still argue whether Aurora's guided Vikings or just messed with their melatonin levels. Feathers molt from her wings, landing as obsidian arrowheads. Pocket 1. eBay that relic later. If you survive the frostbite, her laugh echoes, a sound that could crack the Bifrost. Mortals always want souvenirs, she cackles. Try not to pawn Yggdrasil. A drumbeat throbs, Odin's approval rating dropping by the minute. The sky tears, a black hole wearing a raven fez. Hugin and Munin swoop down, feathers reeking of tabloid gossip and half-eaten battlefield corn dogs. They whisper tomorrow's headlines. Local idiot annoys death goddesses. Film at 11. The Valkyrie vanishes, leaving you on a glacier sketched in wolf tracks. Fenrir's chain rattles below, each link a frozen scream. Your breath crystallizes, tiny snowflakes spelling idiot in Proto-Norse. Fair. Stars blur the Big Dipper, now a soup ladle. A berserker's ghost offers fermented shark, decline with the urgency of a diffusing bomb. He shrugs, eats the moldy hunk, and belches the alphabet. Classy, northern lights flare, pulsing to the rhythm of a dozen anarchic heartbeats. Your eyelids droop, each blink stretching longer. Valkyrie wings beat a lullaby older than Loki's daddy issues. A raven tucks your shirt in its beak colder than an ex's goodbye. Ice forms on your lashes, the world reduced to prisms and regret. Somewhere, a longship's figurehead coughs. The Valkyrie's feather warms, emergency hand warmer, or Stockholm syndrome kicking in. Doesn't matter. Frost claims your limbs, gentler than any lover. The sagas fade, their vowels smeared across the thawing tundra. You levitate, or maybe just pass out. Aurora tendrils weave a hammock between comet tails. Sleep comes, a wolf's howl, sinking to your last synapses fizzle. The cold dissolves like sugar in bitter tea, your knees sinking into soil that breathes. Pomegranate husks crunch, underfoot, each pop a gunshot in death's foyer. Blossoms erupt through cracks in the bedrock, petals the color of artery walls. This isn't gardening. It's defibrillation for the underworld. You recognize the corridor. Black poplars twisted into archways, their leaves whispering tax audits in Aramaic. Scholars mapped these roots to the Eleusinian mysteries, but their blueprints got lost in a library of Alexandria group chat. Something moves ahead, a hem of saffron fabric vanishing around a thorn-barbed colonnade. Follow it. Bad idea. Obviously, the air congeals, smelling of compost and pomegranate molasses. A marble threshold appears, cracked by something impatient. Step over it. Your shadow stays behind, waving goodbye like a divorced dad at the airport. Hades' garden unfurls, nightshade coiled around Narcissus. Roses bled white from centuries without sun. Topiaries loom shaped like the gods' least favorite mortals. That one's definitely Agamemnon. Persephone kneels ahead, fingernails caked with soil and existential compromise. She's replanting asphodels, the official flower of "we're out of condolence cards." Her voice rasps like a serpent's molt. 6 seeds, they claim I ate. 6. The dirt shivers, releasing a sigh that echoes in your molars. Historians still argue whether it was 4 or 8. Hades' cookbook got destroyed with Pompeii. A root snakes around your ankle, squeezing Morse code. Short, long, short. SOS, you ask. It retracts, sheepish. Persephone smirks, her laugh sprouting belladonna along the path. The roots gossip. Something about Aphrodite's seaweed implants. Don't ask. You pocket a pomegranate aril. It squirms like a live betta fish. Persephone notices, rolls her eyes. Demeter will bill you for that. Above, a false dawn bleeds through the cavern roof. Godspeed. Helios's 3rd divorce settlement. The ground purrs, vibrating with footsteps both too heavy and not there. Hades manifests by the juice bar, his chariot double parked beside Cerberus's flea bath. He sips a smoothie thick enough to loop Tartarus. Babe, he croons, your mom's calling again. Persephone freezes, petrichor and rage steaming off her skin. The Narcissus wilt. 3 fates FaceTime her, a muted quarrel about crop subsidies and or mortal destinies. She snaps an iPhone in half. The pieces grow into silver cypress trees. You shuffle backward, crushing a mushroom that screams in Middle Persian. Hades glides over his breath, reeking of tax evasion and mint. Lost little thief. His crown's a sliced geode, citrine edges catching in light that shouldn't exist here. Run. The garden contorts hedges, knitting into a labyrinth of sugar-stolen myths. Left. A river of molten prophecy. Right. A gift shop selling "I survived the Styx" teas. Persephone's voice hisses through a grate. Don't buy the keychain. Your stolen arrow pulses, red light strobing through your ribs. The walls bleed pomegranate sap, sticky and suspiciously warm. Step into it. The world flips, gravity now a polite suggestion. You're falling upward into a cellar, stocked with ambrosia light. A table materializes, its surface carved with mortal names whittled too soon. Persephone pats the seat beside her, ivy swallowing your thighs like seatbelts. They think me a victim, she mutters, but who else gets dual citizenship? She snaps. A pomegranate splits itself like a melon baller victim. Seeds skitter 8 of them, forming a Ptolemaic model around your water glass. One orbits your thumb, a tiny helmet. Swallow it. The room tilts. Your bones hum. Vivaldi's Spring Concerto, played on xylem and phloem. Persephone studies you, eyes flickering between chlorophyll green and hellfire amber. Mortals always root for the rescue, she sighs, never the gardener. Shade servants scuttle in offering figs stuffed with lies. Decline. They shrug, wither into laurel wreaths. Hades' laugh booms through the floorboards. Babe, the mortals found the chamber of whispering skulls again. Persephone pinches her nose. Reddit's gonna love that. The stolen seed flares your pulse, sinking to roots, snaking through the earth's core. Time curdles. Seasons flip. Somewhere, Demeter chain checks a coup weather. Persephone grips your wrist, her touch sprouting poppies from your pores. Dawn's coming, she warns. My husband hates overtime. She flicks a petal at your forehead. The garden collapses, a black hole made of compost. You rocket upward, blooming through topsoil, into a meadow drenched in dew. Birds squawk your mouth, full of spring and pomegranate pits. The sun stings, a needy friend after a long night. Spit the seeds. They bury themselves, 5 headstones for a future orchard. Your skin itches, daffodils erupting from hangnails. Walk north. Follow the scent of rot and renewal. Persephone's laugh lingers in your fillings, a mix of ambrosia and spite. You brush petal flecks from your sleeves, each one stained with underworld toll fees. The path ahead shimmers, half asphalt, half root-riddled myth. A school bus honks, shadows lengthen, stretching into accusations. You pocket a lone seed. It hums Queens, Don't Stop Me Now, in minor key. Bedrock rumbles, Persephone's final eye-roll seismic somewhere below New Jersey. The moon rises, its cracks glowing like pomegranate vasculature. Your shoes squelch soles caked in 2 kinds of dirt. One supports daisies, the other subpoenas. A beetle scuttles past, its shell inlaid with miniature tormented souls. Google Maps pings. It says turn left to Hades. You walk straight. Night falls, velvet and complacent. The stars arrange themselves into spoilers for next season. Slip the seed under your tongue. Its beat sinks to REM cycles. Soil shifts, alive and itinerant. You're already half-rooted when sleep drags you under a volunteer in her unending garden. The soil still clings, Persephone's loam caking your nails as thin air bites. Frost outlines your breath each. Exhale a ghost, apprenticing for better gigs. Stone steps materialize underfoot, each slab worn concave by knees and desperation, always with the stairs, universe. A gong vibrates your molars, its pulse sinking to a glacier's millennium-long shrug. Around the bend, monks chant their voices frayed by altitude and last season's yak butter shortages. Bronze bowls rest in their palms, centuries of fingerprints tarnishing the edges. Tibetans call them tingsha, though one dude's name tag says Steve. Historians confirm their use since the 12th century, mostly to drown out avalanche anxiety. You enter a courtyard where cold seeps through boot soles like passive-aggressive karma. A novice offers tea. It smells like steeped glaciers and apologies. Drink. The porcelain's warm enough to make your fillings regret life choices. The head monk's skin, leathered like a well-traveled saddle, strikes his bowl. The note hangs, then fractures into harmonies no piano could replicate. Your ribs hum, a forgotten radio frequency tuning back to source. Researchers still debate whether these tones were meant to meditate or scare off yetis who hate B-flat. Incense smoke braids with your breath, sandalwood and snowmelt tangoing up your sinuses. Stupas loom, their whitewashed sides pockmarked by hailstone haiku. Lean against one. The stone thrums, a subsonic chant stored during the Ming Dynasty. A tourist's carved initials peel off like bad karma. Steve, bless his cotton socks, demonstrates the cosmic ohm. His bowl overflows with resonance, a sound so dense it warps the monastery's shadow. Butter lamps gutter. Some claim the vibrations align chakras. Others swear it's just vertigo from thinning oxygen. You feel both. Snow begins, flakes spiraling like shredded scripture. A monk gestures to a low door. Inside, butter sculptures melt into Rorschach puddles. Is that Shiva or a really sad marmot? The air tastes of burnt juniper and Wi-Fi withdrawal. They seat you cross-legged on a yak hair rug. Someone dims the oil lamps. The dark pulses like a pupil dilating. 8 bowls circle your knees. Strike one. Its drone unspools childhood memories of dial-up internet. Another, grandma's apron strings snapping in a hurricane. A third, Persephone's laugh, still wedged between your molars. The head monk raises an eyebrow. You're thrumming, he says. You glance down. Arm hairs vibrate, casting shadows like cuneiform warnings. A novice giggles. Steve mouths don't panic while hiding a smartphone behind his robe. Outside, wind scrapes the peaks. A billion-year-old whetstone sharpening silence. The bowls, overtones peel back layers of helicopter parents and credit scores. One note lingers, a frequency that dissolves elevator music from your soul. You choke up. The monk nods. Happens. Past the chapati, dusk gilds the prayer flags, their frayed threads telegraphing mantras across the Himalayas. Steve offers a bowl, its rim dented from that time. A marmot mistook it for a toilet. For the road, he whispers. Tap it. The vibration lasts 3 inhalations, or 11 lifetimes. Hard to tell up here. You descend, earthy musk replaces thin air, each step composting altitude sickness into something wiser. The bowl warms in your pocket, a stolen moon pressed against denim. Clouds part, stars imprint their serial numbers onto your retina. Sleep tugs, a merciful void with excellent acoustics. The final bowl's hum nestles into your brainstem, an anchor against dream tides. Snow muffles the path. Somewhere above, monks debate whether to order pizza delivery via prayer wheel. You keep walking the horizon, a hazy fusion of myth and 5G dead zones. Your boots sink into mulch, the Himalayas, thin air swapped for loam thick enough to sprout regrets. Redwood trunks pierce fog like godly splinters, each furrowed bark older than the concept of weekdays. A park sign glows moss green, Muir Woods National Monument. Established 1908. No logging, no loud consonants. Teddy Roosevelt's signature still smudges the air, part cigar smoke, part manifest destiny. Fern fronds swipe your calves, nature's feathered dusters tickling through denim. Sunlight filters down in shards, a stained glass mosaic designed by squirrels. Breathe. The air's so fresh it's basically mouthwash for your soul. Controversial take, fog's just tree sweat. You half expect a raven to charge you for oxygen. Touch a trunk. Vertical grooves channel rainwater like Braille love letters to the sky. Some say coast Miwok tribes navigated by these giants. Living compass, roses in a pre-GPS world. Scholars still argue whether markings on certain trees are ancient trail signs or 19th century lumberjack graffiti. Either way, respect the drip. Your neck cranes, canopy layers stack into green infinity. A woodpecker's Morse code blends with tourist whispers. That one's 260 feet, a kid shouts. His dad corrects him. 280, plus your unbridled enthusiasm. The math checks out if you count awe as a unit of measure. Resin weeps from a lightning scar, amber globs, fossilizing last century's bad hair days. You sidestep a banana slug, its neon yellow bodysuit screaming. Don't step on me, in mollusk. A sign warns please stay on the trail, someone scratched below. Or face the tree lawyers. Fair. Wind combs through needles 600 feet up. Sequoia gossip becomes white noise. Your phone dies. Signal bars flatline. A relief. Honestly, no dopamine pings. Just raven squawks and your own Jurassic Park level paranoia. That rustle. Probably a deer. Or a very lost Compsognathus. You pass a hollowed trunk, burnt-out core, wide enough to park a Prius in. Fire Survival 101. Redwoods store water in their bark, like apocalyptic preppers. Rangers swear this one's been empty since the 1850s, though a TikToker claims it's a portal to Narnia. Ratings pending. Sunset bruises the fog pink. Bioluminescent fungi pulse along the path, nature's nightlights for the over-imaginative. Your knee brushes a sapling. Guilt flares. What if you killed the next millennia's skyscraper? Breathe. The forest has survived ice ages and Instagram influencers. It'll handle your clumsiness. A ranger materializes, flannel shirt, coffee breath, eyes sharp as a spotted owl's. They're not just tall, he says, patting a trunk. Their roots interlock underground, hold each other up during storms. You nod. So they're basically tree hippies with better infrastructure. The path narrows. Moss invades your sleeve cuffs, payment for passage. Bats flip past, furry commas editing the twilight. You duck under a fallen titan, its trunk a bridge between realms. Lichen patterns swirl like cursive. Translate 1. Water bill due. Signed, Photosynthesis Department. Wood smoke tugs you toward a clearing. Ranger Steve, everyone's named Steve here, stokes a campfire. Marshmallows impale twigs. Toasted sequoia style, he grins. The flames whisper secrets. Ember snaps about early loggers, Miwok moon cycles. That one time a bear stole a Tesla. Stars punch through the canopy, pinpricks in a cosmic colander. Mars winces through coastal haze. Lie back, needles cushion your skull, a mulch pillow smelling of Thanksgiving and existential calm. The Milky Way drips saplight onto your cheeks. An owl hoots. Flashlight beams bob in the distance, amateurs chasing aura photography. Let them. You've got better things. The creak of growth rings, the skitter of vole jazzercise, Steve snoring in off-key harmony with the crickets. Dawn licks the treetops first. A 300-foot head start on the day. Fog retreats, exposing bark patterns like topographic maps of forgotten planets. Your fingers find a scar where a branch fell long ago. The woods warm, alive, unimpressed by your mortal timeline. You pocket a cone spiral tight as a frozen galaxy. Ranger Steve eyes you. Those'll take fire to open, he says, or a really determined squirrel. Fair warning, the forest tolerates your thievery. For now, trailhead gift shop glow, appears patches and postcards, and plush banana slugs. Your shoes shed enough mulch to start their own ecosystem. Behind you, roots whisper, a network older than nations, deeper than doubt. One truth rings clear: trees don't do closure. They just grow. Your shoes still smell of redwood mulch until the first canal kiss washes it away. Venice hits like a wet silk handkerchief, saltrot and rosewater perfuming the shuffle from land to liquid. Your gondolier's striped shirt could blind a peacock, his remis ore cracking the moon's reflection into mercury shards. Fact: these boats weren't always black. 16th century nobles raced jewel-toned nightmares until the Doge said enough, enforced somber hues to curb their ego wars. A palazzo leans closer, its peeling stucco revealing brick ribs. Water slaps limestone steps, the city's heartbeat a rhythmic and damp. You drift under the bridge of fists, where gondoliers once brawled over fares. Rumor says you can still find gold teeth in the canal bed dental debris, from 1574. Doubtful, but your fingers brush the water anyway. Glass clinks. A window opens. A woman shakes a rug. Centuries of dust snow into the canal, including, historians suspect, crumbs from Casanova's last bachelor party. The gondolier snorts. Don't believe the tour books. He preferred Florentine bakers, better buns. His wink costs extra. Your prow parts a galaxy of lamp reflections, gold orbs quivering like jellyfish. The pharaoh's iron blade glints, 6 prongs curving like a queen's crown. Or a wave, or a tongue. Experts still bicker. You trace its silhouette, symbolizes Venice's 6 districts. The gondolier lies smoothly. Tip him, he'll say 7. A vaporetto growls past, its wake rocking you into a crumbling pink wall. You brace against velvet cushions. No worries, says your captain. These boats survived Napoleon's tantrum. Your clumsiness is nothing. Above, laundry flutters, chemises and boxers conspiring in the humid dark. Passing San Travaso, the gondola shipyard smells of sawdust and desperation. Workers chant as they steam bend, oak a dirge for trees that dreamed of becoming bookshelves, 280 pieces per hull. And one sneeze could ruin the asymmetry. You hold your breath. Rio de Mendicanti whispers orphan hymns. A cat yowls, echoes piling up like wet firewood. Hear that? Your gondolier grins. That's Lucia, ghost of a fishmonger's widow. Steals left shoes. Check your soles. You do. Both present. Disappointing. Palazzo Contarini del Bavolo looms its snail-shell staircase, spinning into shadow. Duck, a bat's wing grazes your hair. Close call. Renaissance architects loved drama and bad sightlines. Your neck cricks. The gondolier snickers. Happens to everyone. Even Titian. Doubtful. Piazza San Marco glitters ahead, a brooch pinned to the Adriatic's throat. The clock tower's Moors strike midnight, though locals swear it's always 5 minutes fast. To keep tourists punctual, your guide shrugs. Liar. Venice runs on Prosecco time. You glide into a side canal. Algae clings to brick L-I-K-E Chinese letter, jealousy. The water's so still here, you could float a secret, and it'd never surface. Case in point, that drowned casino token from 1720, stuck to your shoe. Toss it back. Let the fish gamble. A Casanova's silhouette leans from a balcony, his serenade drowned by a garbage barge's diesel roar. So much for romance. He'll learn, your gondolier mutters. We all do. His ring fingers pale, recently divorced, or large Kraken victim. Don't ask. The Rialto's shadow swallows you whole, its arch leaking honeymooners' selfies into the water. Touch the stone. It's warm, sun-soaked all day, slow to release the memory of light. Below, eels weave through moonkins, Venetian stockbrokers trading in kelp portfolios. Sirens wail. A police boat rockets past, chasing a phantom speeder. The wake nearly capsizes a postcard rack. Mafia, the gondolier stage whispers. Or gelato smugglers. More likely, a lost cruise ship DJ. The grandure's cracking, but isn't that why you came? Dawn licks the lagoon's edge, pink tongues, erasing night's spilled ink. Your gondolier yawns. Last stop, converted 17th century stable. Now a 5-star hotel. Minibars trapped in a Murano glass cage. You step onto moss-slick steps. He salutes with an oar. Sleep with the fishes, but not literally. The canal drinks your footprints, hungry for any story you'll feed it. Somewhere, a pump battles the tide. It's losing, always losing. You almost pity it. But the water, too, busy polishing centuries to care. The Mediterranean clings like brine-soaked silk, your lungs heavy with salt and stolen myths. Down here, pressure becomes a language. Sirens don't sing, they hum. Low and tectonic, the vibration starts in your molars. Fact, Homer never called them beautiful. Original texts describe feathered horrors with donkey legs, nightmare tax accountants of the deep. Your toes brush a warship's spine, its bronze ram green with envy. Amphory skulls grin upslope, their wine last breaths long since hijacked by urchins. That chatter, not currents. Eels debating politics in a dead consul's helmet. One waves a sardine scepter. You decline the invitation to vote. A murex shell glows Tyrian purple, still staining its spiral. Romans would have killed for this, and did. Whole coastlines slaughtered for snail mucus. Quirkier take. Cleopatra's barge sails used octopus ink instead. Historians still argue whether it was a flex or a dye shortage. Something slick brushes your ankle, not fauna. Siren hair. The strands pulse bioluminescent gossip. You kick. It recoils, hissing in a dialect older than Troy. Wrong move, says a voice like drowned church bells. They remember slights longer than Poseidon's grudges. The abyss yawns, a pearl winks from its throat. Your joints ache with depth. Every step stirs silt ghosts, Phoenician traders, Cretan smugglers, a French submariner who really should double-checked his air valve. Their hands pass through yours, souvenirs of poor life choices. A coral cathedral looms, its spires choked with anchor chains. Inside, barnacle-encrusted hymnals lie open to page 69. Classic. Sirens lounge in fractured keels, filing their claws with ship nails. One winks, holding up a sign. No swimming. No refunds. Your ears pop. Pressure shifts, the water's mood ring-changing hues. A crab sidesteps into view, pincers clutching a Byzantine coin. Heads or tails, it seems to ask. You pick tails. It flips the coin which sinks. Always sinks. Warmth bleeds from a hydrothermal vent, nature's jacuzzi. You hover as blind shrimp scritch your soles. Note to self, bring exfoliating mask next time. A siren glides past, muttering about surface dweller stink. Rude, moonlight fractures above, quicksilver confetti. Your fingers graze a marble foot Nike of Samothrace's long-lost sister. Probably not. More likely a garden gnome tossed off a Mykonos ferry. Still for a heartbeat, You swear it flexes its toes. Muffled thunder rolls, not storms. A cruise ship's propeller churning the midnight buffet into chum. Sirens scatter, cussing in ancient Greek. One flips the vessel off with a starfish. You sympathize. Nothing kills mystique like a conga line. The pearl winks again, closer now. It's not a pearl, a tooth. Megalodon, Titanoboa. Your travel insurance definitely doesn't cover this. You pocket it anyway. Relics make better stories than receipts. A current tugs you toward a cave's maw. Inside, obsidian mirrors reflecting everything but your face. Your pulse thrums in tempo with Is That Abba? A siren's iPod glows neon by an air pocket. Of course, even monsters need gabber music. You surface in a foam-caked cove, moonlight oiling the waves. The tooth in your palm now feels warm, hungry. Legends claim sirens sculpted the first islands from sailors' cartilage. Scientists blame volcanic activity. Your vote: split the difference, poetry with plausible deniability. Dawn's first rays spear the water, liquid gold dissolving the night's spell. Something splashes. You turn, just ripples, just the sea's shrug. The tooth thrums, or maybe that's your phone finally getting signal. Coincidence? The Mediterranean doesn't answer. It smirks. The Mediterranean's salt crust cracks. Your next breath tastes of rotting orchids and wet iron. Humidity hits like a soaked blanket. The Amazon's punchline to coastal elegance. Fireflies blink in Morse code. Their semaphores lead you uphill through knotted roots. Your heel sinks into leaf rot, warm, spongy, vaguely alive. That gurgle isn't your stomach. A shaman's clay pot simmers ahead, smoke tendrils braiding with firefly orbits. Fact: these brews have been poured for 3,000 years, communion with spirits. Or clever botany, the cup thrust into your hand smells like burnt honey and guilt. Drink, says a voice made of cicadas and snapped twigs. You obey. The brew sears visions bloom. Neurons fire in neon. Jaguars materialize. Or are you shrinking? One licks its paw, pupils swallowing your reflection whole. Historians still argue whether these rituals began as pharmacy or performance art. Your vote: both, plus a dash of theatrical bullshit. The shaman chuckles, sound vibrating through his bone-studded necklace. Coral snakes slither up his arms like living tattoos. Starot, he taps the cup, steam twists into anaconda shapes. Quirkier take: the roots ground with moonshed snakeskin. Doesn't mention that in the Lonely Planet Guide. Trees sway not from wind. Taproots pulse beneath your soles, veins pumping millennia of gossip. You hear the forest's hungers, vines throttling rivals, orchids bribing beetles with pornographic nectar. A howler monkey screams, everyone's a critic. Fireflies spiral into a crown above your scalp, living halo or target. The shaman spits into the fire. Flames leap, shadow puppets reenact tribal wars. Spears versus blow darts. Spoiler: the ants win. Always, your tongue tingles, flavors decoding themselves. Charred capybara fat, Angel's trumpet residue. Starlight distilled through bromeliad tanks. The shaman mutters, glyphs materialize on your skin. They itch. A moth alights on your wrist, reads the text. Frowns. Ground gives way. You're floating through a mangrove's artery. Piranha schools part like red-eyed applause. Something whispers through lily pads, not a voice. The forest breathing. Each inhalation strips another layer of city grime. You are exfoliated raw and glow in the dark tender. Dawn. No bioluminescent fungi clocking in for their shift. The shaman materializes, smearing your forehead with paste that smells of betrayal and allspice. Vision number 42, your childhood home overgrown with strangler figs. Mom's china cabinet, now a termite high-rise. Therapy's cheaper, but less insightful. A jaguar noses your knee, translating muscle tension into a snack assessment. You freeze. The shaman tosses it, a hunk of peccary meat. Manners, he scolds. Cat logic demands tips. It drags a caiman skull toward you. Airbnb review pending. The brews aftertaste whispers secrets. Did conquistadors really hallucinate El Dorado here? Or just dysentery? Trees don't answer, they remember, but charge by the syllable. Your hands find a termite mound, vibrating with hieroglyphics. Or maybe just termites. Fireflies dim. The shaman grips your wrist, his nails carving bloodless moons into your skin. Starut dies in daylight, he hisses. Truth serum or placebo? Does it matter? Your pores ooze confession-scented sweat. The jaguar sniffs, disinterested. You stumble toward river sounds, legs woven from wet gauze. The shaman's laugh follows, tangled with toucan squawks. Water holds your reflection, and another face superimposed. Older, greener, happier. The river claims the vision, ripples erasing your inheritance. A vine snakes around your ankle, not hostile. Guide rope or tripwire. You let it tow you into Blackwater. Piranhas chart your wake, dental assassins on payroll. The shaman's fire winks once, then dies. First rule of Ayahuasca Club: never admit you liked it. Sunrise bleeds through canopy gaps, chainsaw to the magic. Howler monkeys heckle your exit. The brews truths curdle into dream fragments, jaguar ethics, orchid politics, the relentless capitalism of photosynthesis. You pocket a seed pod, souvenir, or future lawsuit. The river spits you onto a mudflat. Village kids giggle at your twitchy majesty. Their ball, a tied-up armadillo. Progress. Your phone buzzes, 72 missed calls. You ignore it. Priorities. Find pants less haunted. Breakfast without eyeballs. Your phone's flashlight glares. Sand replaced Amazon mud overnight. Jet lag or magic. The Great Pyramid looms, its shadow a cheese grater for stars. Sand grinds underfoot, each grain hissing Coptic curses. Those aren't your footprints. They spiral like drunken hieroglyphs. A gust hurls grit at your eyes, cruel welcome committee. You shield your face. Too late. The desert's exfoliating your corneas. Pro tip: next time, pack goggles and a time machine. Blinking tears, You spot it, a crack in the limestone facade. Not on any tour map. Hieroglyphs flutter, painted moths trapped in stone. Squeezing through the gap, your elbow knocks a scarab carving. It clicks. The floor disappears. You slide, assaulted by 30 centuries of stale air. Impact. Dust motes dance in your flashlight beam, microscopic pharaohs doing the electric slide. Mainstream fact. Workers found Khufu's solar boat buried nearby, a cedar husk meant to sail the afterlife. You touch the wall, your palm prints align with ancient ones. Union laborers or slaves. Historians still argue. Your sweat mingles with their evaporated toil. The corridor narrows, shoulders scraping both walls. No OSHA here. A low hum vibrates your molars, subwoofer for the underworld. Your phone dies. Darkness inhales. You fumble forward, fingertips reading braille ghosts on stone. Air smells of burnt myrrh and IBM Selectric ink. Quirk alert. A 19th century explorer swore he heard phantom oars splashing below ground. Anubis's canoe team. Your heel kicks something. A half-buried Ushabti figurine. Its painted grin says, "New best friend." Pocket it. Souvenir or curse. Pork Nolo's dues. Light blooms ahead, flickering like a defective fluorescent tube. Rounding the corner, you freeze. The chamber's walls ripple, not stone. Thousands of papyrus fragments float in midair. Prototype IKEA instructions for the afterlife. One brushes your cheek. Hieratic script detailing Osiris's grocery list. Pomegranates. Lie. Regret. The hum sharpens. Sand rains from the ceiling. Invisible hourglass counting down your trespass. A slab shifts, revealing a descending staircase. Steps glow faintly, throbbing like a carotid artery. Your Apple Watch buzzes. It's time to stand. Too late for wellness checks. Carved jackal heads line the walls, stone tongues lolling in mockery. One winks. You ration hallucinations. A breeze gusts upward, carrying whispers from Cheops's funeral director. Mummification, 60 days or your money back. The chamber's acoustics warp your chuckle into a hyena cackle. At the stair's base, a stone sarcophagus. Lid askew, empty. The ultimate Baytan switch. Hieroglyphs above it morph, ancient Instagram filter glitching. You squint. Rough translation. Congrats. You've reached level 42. Insert offering to continue. Pocket lint won't cut it. That Ushabti burns your thigh. You toss it into the coffin. Metal clangs. The false bottom drops away. A ladder leads into ink. Your Nike's grip falters. Fun fact, tomb raiders got tetanus, not treasure. Descending, rungs slick with something that isn't water. The shaft opens into a cavern, your gasp echoes for centuries. Walls glitter, embedded shells from when pyramids were beachfront property. A fossilized crab waves one claw, you're too sleep-deprived to question it. In the center, a obsidian tablet. Cuneiform and emojis share the surface. Volcano, eggplant, Eye of Horus, universal language of bad decisions. Touch it, The stone flows like tar, engulfing your hand. Panic fades as visions hit. Priestesses tweeting prophecies, sphinx selfies, workforce strikes at the limestone quarries. The chamber rumbles, suspended papyrus sheets burst into green flame. Exit stage left. You sprint, pharaohs happy, inexplicably soundtracking your escape. Sand fills your shoes, nature's Legos. Daylight blinds. The crack seals behind you, stone lips blowing a raspberry. Tourists mill nearby. None notice your dust-caked hair or existential tremors. A guard offers water. Hot day, he says, king of understatement. You chug, eyeing the pyramid. 2 kids take selfies doing duck lips. History shrugs. Your phone resurrects dozens of spam emails. Ra's summer solstice sale. 30% off CANOPICJARS. Trash them. The Ushabti's gone. Left hand tingles. Obsidian residue spelling ACAB in hieroglyphics. Funny that phrase predates police. Sunset stains the desert blood orange. Buses leave. You linger sand nesting in every crevice. The pyramid's shadow stretches, a sundial pointing to your hotel. Somewhere below, a phantom oar splashes. You check booking. Calm, 4 stars. Quiet, but weird vibes at midnight. Your hotel keycard still smells like Cairo dust. Now you're knee-deep in Kyoto cherry blossom confetti. Jet engines hum in your joints. Time zones blur. That weird vibe, pyramid glow. Followed you here, soft halo around every petal. Blossoms cling to your jacket like fluorescent barnacles. You brush one off. It sticks to your palm, veins pulsing pink. Across the path, a samurai statue scowls under floral snowfall. Lacquered armor gleams, black ice with cherry syrup drips. Mainstream fact. Warriors wrote death poems under these trees, their version of updating a LinkedIn. Open to work status. You trace the statue's sword hilt. Frostbite cold. Historians still argue whether cherry blooms symbolized fleeting life or just made great ambient lighting for seppuku TikToks. A whetstone's screech cuts the dusk. Follow the sound. Through a torii, gates vermilion jaws, cobblestones glazed in crushed petals. Your sneakers crunch like they're eating Rice Krispies. Quirk alert. Locals swear nightingales here sing in 4/4 time, feathered metronomes for tea ceremonies. You pause. A trill ripples the air. Could be a bird. Could be a Kyoto jazz club's sound system leaking. The whetstone man sits under a tree older than your passport. His blade flashes, steel flickering like a Zippo. Cherry petals fall onto the grindstone. They vaporize in sparks. Sharpening spring, he croaks, either profound or senile. He gestures you closer. Blossoms catch in his white beard, nature's glitter bombing. You kneel. He shoves the sword hilt first into your grip. Sengoku-era steel weighs more than your gym regrets. Ayashi, he mutters. Google translates offline. You default to nodding. The blade reflects your face, warped funhouse version with jet lag sockets. A petal lands on your nose. Cross-eyed viewing, your future as a meme. Suddenly, He's gone, vanished like a screensaver. Just the sword in your hands, and Sakura confetti where his knees dented moss. A nightingale cackles, distant, derisive. The path ahead darkens, lanterns wake one by one. Paper globes sway like drunken moons. Your sword-toting shadow stretches, Kurosawa film extra. Armor clinks behind you, not your imagination. Lacquered plates rattle, a disembodied chest guard rolls past your ankle. You pivot. Blossoms spiral into a mini tornado. Through the pink snow, a silhouette forms. Samurai helmet, vermilion cords. No face, just depth perception hell. It growls in early modern Japanese. You catch Gaijin and Disneyland. Not a welcome wagon. The specter draws its katana, a sound like unzipping reality. Your borrowed sword twitches. Muscle memory from PlayStation, samurai games kicks in. Parry. Metal shrieks, sparks, nickname your eyebrows. The ghost hisses. Its blade notches yours. Cherry petals weld themselves into THE Chinese letter, DIY repair. 3 more armored shades materialize. A quartet of wrathful weebs. Their armors patterned with wisteria traders' crests. If you recall that museum plaque right, one swings, you duck. His blade shears a tree branch, sap bleeds gold. The whetstone man's voice echoes. Iyashi means healing, idiot. Great. Zen riddles mid-brawl. You block a slash. Try not to die cringing. A petal sticks to the lead ghost's visor. He swipes, blade embeds in cedar bark. You kick his breastplate. Lacquer cracks. Centipedes spill out, many-legged family reunion. The specter dissolves into pollen. Nightingale laughs escalate. Remaining ghosts falter, their armor loosening. You poke one's kabuto. It deflates, empty helmet clatters. Bees zip out. Silence. Pollen haze stings your nostrils. The sword dissolves in your hands, petals and rust. Only the whetstone remains. Glowing like a Kardashian's ring light. Pocket it. Japan's TSA will love this. You exit the grove, lanterns dimming in your wake. Tourists flood the path now, giggling over Sakura latte art. None notice your cedar-scented PTSD. At the metro station, salarymen snore upright, commuter zombies. Your train hums a lullaby. The whetstone warms your pocket. Forgotten tech. Samurai rubbed these to focus before duels. DIY fidget spinner. Your phone buzzes. UNESCO alert. Sakura bloom peeking at Heimji Castle. You smirk. Let the influencers have their selfies. Your sword callus is OEM samurai grade. Platform lights blur into daisy chains. As you doze, cherry petals skitter across the window, pink fingerprints on glass. The nightingale's tune follows you into sleep. 14 stops till Osaka. 10 dreams of swinging steel. The train's rattle softens. Suddenly you're ankle deep in wool-dyed sand. Dawn stains the desert burnt umber. A loom stands ahead, crisscrossed poles swallowing the horizon. Threads catch first light crimson to indigo gradients bleeding like watercolor. Smoke curls from a nearby hogan, sage, and juniper teasing your nostrils. An elder weaver nods without looking up. Her fingers dance, shuttle darting like a hummingbird. You recognize the pattern Ghanaian kente meets Arizona sunset, mainstream fact. Daine weavers bred churro sheep for centuries. Their wool's luster outshines any Instagram filter. She flicks her chin toward a spinning spindle. You crouch, raw fleece clings to your palms. It's stickier than expected. Grease, she grins. Lanolin's nature's fiberglass. Your fleece wobbles, yarn thickening and thinning like a teenager's mustache. The loom song begins. Not music, a vibration underfoot. Warp threads hum ancient vowels. Weft strands hiss consonants. Together they weave syntax older than nouns. Historians still argue whether these patterns mapped secret trails or just blue bored shepherds' minds. Quirk time. Conspiracy forums claim chief blanket motifs hide alien crop circles. You squint at zigzags. Could be a UFO flight path. Could be a drunk caterpillar's meander. The elder tosses a bat of carded wool, dirt brown clump, transforming midair into cloud-soft roving. You blink. She side-eyes your confusion. What? Never seen aerodynamic fiber prep. The desert deadpan hits like a SNL sketch. Your clumsy yarn snaps. She tusks, pelts you with a ball of undyed roving. It explodes in a puff of fluff. Coughing, you salvage strands. Progress. Your section now resembles a gerbil's nest. Wind gusts. The loom's crossbeam groans. You brace it, palms meeting sun-warmed wood. Grain presses into your skin whorls, echoing the weaver's fingerprints. Time blurs. Warp threads count seconds. Weft threads answer. Dusk arrives, ochre to violet in 7 minutes flat. The elder murmurs. You catch storm and fourth world. Threads snap taut. Loom strings thrum Morse code in wool. Sand stings your cheeks. Horizon birthed lightning. Your fleece whips into the dust, ragged yarn trailing like Icarus's wings. The weaver's laugh cuts through gales. She points to your pocket. The stolen Kyoto whetstone glows uranium bright. Sand rasps against stone. Patterns rise from the storm textiles spun from airborne grit. A blanket materializes midair storm clouds and red mesa geometry. Historians label these chief's blankets, but no expert agrees who the hell designed the first. Tumbleweed torpedoes past. The elder ducks. You don't. It crowns you thorny halo. She wheezes decades of strict, silent dignity obliterated. Churro's revenge, she gasps. Dry humor, tougher than boot leather. Lightning forks, loom strings ignite, solar flares trapped in wool. The elder grips your wrist, her palms a roadmap of calluses. Watch. Fire consumes the textile. Smoke curls into glyphs, burnt offerings spelling #LT. Your brain auto-translates. Laughter marks the path. Dawn encroaches. The loom's skeleton creaks, suddenly just sun-bleached wood and nylon cord. Tourist grade. Your jeans sag, pockets stuffed with raw churro wool. The whetstone's cold again, Kyoto steel reduced to a paperweight. A pickup truck rumbles by, teenagers blasting resi trap. One yells, "Yadye," you wave. Sand spills from your sleeve. Back on the highway, GPS insists you're 8 miles from Flagstaff. Your hands still smell of lanolin and lightning. Sunrise Guilds, a roadside gift shop, neon sign hawking authentic Navajo crafts. You snort. The clerk eyes your fleece-tangled hair. Rough night. You pluck a sage bundle from the rack. Netflix and weave binge. She smirks, rings up your purchase. Asphalt shimmers. Heat waves mimic warp threads. 20 miles ahead, rain curtains the painted desert. Your rental car's AC groans. The loom's song lingers. Sub-basso hum syncing with engine vibration. Cottonwood fluff drifts past nature's own weft material. Sleep tugs your eyelids. You let the dotted lines hypnotize. Somewhere, an elder's laughing, her loom singing, storms into tapestries. Your fingers twitch, muscle memory spinning dust into gold. Engine hum fades, replaced by the scritch-scratch of quill on parchment. Wax pooled over a candle holder's edge, frozen cascades matching your stalled windshield wipers. Moonlight glares through warped glass. Now you're squinting at ink blots on yellowed staff paper. A pianissimo melody loops 3 rising notes, then nothing. Like a text thread cut mid-confession, the composer's shadow hunches nearby. Wig askew. Sleeve cuffs blackened by ink. Mainstream fact. Mozart drafted fragments sideways and upside down. His marginalia included grocery lists and doodles of well-endowed cherubs. You lean closer. Sheet music swims, a caffeine overdose of 16th notes. A cat yowls. Manuscripts flutter. The musician swears, Viennese German sprinkled with creative blasphemies. His quill stabs an inkwell, Dice's verdammt adagio. Historians still argue whether his all-nighters ran on wine or Turkish coffee. The inkblots smell suspiciously like both. His finger traces a staff line, muttering ratios and fractions. You catch 3, 1 resin to beeswax, and horsehair from stallions only. Quirk alert. Conspiracy. Blogs swear his violin strings contained crystallized dragon saliva. Currently, he's licking a bow, gagging theatrically. Never trust a Cremonese varnish recipe. A clock chimes. He freezes. Counts strikes on ink-stained fingers. 3 a.m. The quill resumes, feverish circles around a missing cadence. You sense the void, an 8th rest stretching into existential crisis. The melodies, unresolved, like your ex's Spotify playlist. Wind slams shutters. Pages swirl a tornado of musical satire. You grab one midair. It's a grocery list. Quills, sealing wax, 6 lemons. No hair YOST's cheese. Gives Zizzy gas. Priorities. The cat returns, knocks over an inkwell. Burgundy, liquid spreads like a Rorschach blot. Mozart bellows. You lunge, blotting with your sleeve. Now you're accessorizing Baroque tragedy. Genius optional, he deadpans. Laundry skills mandatory, Dawn threatens. The composer crumples a page, tosses it. It unfurls mid-arc, revealing a completed measure. He snatches it back. Neen, too symmetrical. Genius is a high-maintenance boyfriend. Your pocket buzzes. The stolen loom thread vibrates. Thread twists in air, snipping a high C from the harpsichord. Mozart scowls. Another tuner's gimmick, squints at the strand. Humor sparks. He loops it around a quill, improvises a ink-stained yo-yo. Candle dies. The final measure remains blank, pregnant pause before an absent punchline. You point. He shrugs. Let posterity's musicologists starve. Petty AF, history's greatest troll. Roosters crow. His eyes widen, quill etches a single grace note. There, let them parse that chromatic schweinerei. The ink glows, temporary radiance. Dawn bleaches it dull. You blink, suddenly hugging a steering wheel. A semi-truck honks. Your rental car straddles two lanes. The unresolved note lingers, tinnitus dressed in silk. NPR babbles about Salzburg tourism. Glove compartment rattles. Inside, a dried lemon wedge and a broken quill nib. You chuck both out the window. 3 miles ahead, a Costco sells bulk coffee beans, and yes, hermetically sealed cheese. Rain resumes. Your wipers stutter step in 6/8 time. Pavement markings blur, bass clefs, and ledger lines. Exhaustion wins. You crank the Mozart CD. Track 7 skips eternally on that damn missing cadence. Steering wheel frost bites your palms. The rental car's heater wheezes its last. Outside, glaciers gnaw at the horizon, jagged teeth, stained Antarctic blue. NPR static morphs into whale song. A basso, profundo shiver up your spine. You squint. Billboard ahead. Next services 817 miles. Every gas station in Antarctica sells overpriced mittens and existential dread. Ice cracks, a gunshot report echoing across the floes. The car shudders, GPS dies. You're navigating by starboard, now wait. Wrong pole. A green smear bleeds across the sky, Aurora Australis doing its screensaver routine. Something colossal breaches, a barnacled spine wider than 6 subway cars. Mainstream fact. Blue whales gulp 500,000 calories daily, enough to power your shameful Taco Bell habit for 87 lifetimes. Antarctica's breath fogs the windshield. Each exhale leaves ice ferns on glass. The whale dives. Its fluke slaps water with tectonic finality. Historians still argue whether 19th century whalers mistook their songs for the devil's cello section. You'd vote yes. Those harp glissando groans could haunt a cathedral. Radio sparks to life. Australian accent croons. Local legend claims ice preserves whale memories, frozen jukeboxes of krill recipes, and divorce dramas. Quirky tidbits secured. You press the gas. Tires crunch a protest. An iceberg heaves upright, revealing a minky whale encased like a disillusioned popsicle. Its eye glows, bioluminescent resentment. Told you glaciers were judgy, you mutter. The rental's clock blinks 3:47 a.m., jet lags a cruel choreographer. Auroras ripple, green light pools in your cupped hands. Drops splatter the dashboard, frozen tears, or melted AC condensate. The whale's song vibrates your molars. You taste salt, and Petrona's twin towers grade loneliness. Ice shifts, crevasse opens beside the car. Black water inhales. GPS resurfaces. Recalculating, turn left onto Vostok Station Access Road. Fat chance. You're 300 miles from the nearest latte. Flukes slap again. The whale surfaces. Its blowhole expels a mist that reeks of kelp and regret. Breath crystals hang midair, suspended eighth notes. You hum Mozart's unfinished cadence. The whale answers in minor thirds, jazz hands of the abyss. Wind howls, a deranged theremin solo. The aurora stretches taut, snaps into ribbons of emerald and violet. Each strand hums. You realize too late the sounds inside your skull. Ice migraines, Antarctica's parting gift. Dashboard lights flicker Morse code. You decode, abandoned ship. Hysterical laughter, fog murders the windshield. The whale watches, eye dimming to glacial blue. Someone's ex-wife energy radiates off it. Antarctic divorce rates must be brutal. Steering wheel jerks, car veers toward a pressure ridge. You brake. Tires skid. Icebergs rearrange themselves. A Rube Goldberg machine of frozen spite. Whale song deepens. Seatbelt sawzalls your collarbone. Priorities. Cancel SiriusXM trial before the car implodes. A toothpick-sized ship appears brighter than anything Antarctic law allows. Flags snap. Norway, 1911. Crewmen wave, their beards frozen into wind-whipped exclamation points. Historians never mention how Roald Amundsen's team moonlighted as Aurora karaoke hosts. Whale vanishes. The ship follows. Silence collapses like a souffle. You poke the radio. NPR's back. Paleontologists confirm dinosaurs had feathers. Wow. Breaking news from 1986. Key turns. Engine sputters. Dead. Cold creeps up your ankles, a fatal pedicure. You check your phone. No signal. Notes app reads. By Lemon Pledge, text mom. Survive Antarctic thriller plot. 2 out of 3 ain't bad. Headlights catch movement. A penguin waddles behind an ice boulder. It pauses, stares, judges your life choices. Dude, you whisper. I used to have a 401k. It shrugs, a full-body eye roll, and moonwalks into blizzard static. Ice cracks again closer. The whale resurfaces, mouth gaping. Baleen glistens like a cursed pipe organ. You grab the emergency kit. Inside, a flare gun, fish hooks, and Costco-sized Advil. Capitalism finds a way. Aurora pulses. Green flares sync with your headache. The whale sings. You hum along. Something unlocks in the ice, a vibration older than mitochondria. Steering wheel warms. Engine roars. Tires find traction. The rearview mirror shows the whale breaching. Art Deco arcs against riotous stars. Its song fades into AM static. NPR anchor chirps. And for our next underwater ambience hour, You crank the heat. Glove compartment spills mocha-flavored protein bars. Dashboard clock blinks 3:47 a.m. Still, the Advil's expiration date reads 1842 whalers, lost cargo, probably. A road sign looms. Ushuaia, 1200 km. Dawn stains the ice pink. Your breath steadies. Fog patterns mimic the aurora's ghost. The car coughs. You pat its dashboard. Same, buddy. Penguins gather ahead, formations spelling idiot in Morse code. Or maybe tourist. Antarctic literacy rates are notoriously subjective. You salute them. They sneeze in unison, frosted snot missiles. Classy. The whale's final note hums in the cup holder, vibrating an empty Red Bull can. You pocket it. Relic of the great caffeinated collapse. Mom would want the deposit. Cinnamon dust halos the oil lamps, each flame crowned in spice smoke constellations. Your sandal soles stick to cobblestones, centuries of fig syrup, and spilled mint tea fossilized underfoot. A turbaned vendor materializes, his silver tray stacked with saffron threads. 15 dirhams per gram, he croons, then adds, or 3 camel teeth. Market logic. Lantern light stains your hands orange red, like holding liquefied Mars sunsets. You inhale cardamom and burnt sugar twine with diesel exhaust. Modern Morocco's perfume. Stalls collapse inward, leather babouches piled where pyramids of turmeric should be. Historians still argue whether Marrakesh's souk layout mimicked desert caravan routes, or a drunk architect's labyrinthine revenge. A girl offers you snail slime gel for wrinkles and Wi-Fi reception. Her grin outshines the iPhone flashlight wedged in her teeth. Quirky tidbit collected. You decline. Politely. Mostly. The snails gurgle reproachfully from their bucket. Copper scales clang. A spice merchant weighs cumin seeds older than your therapist's unresolved childhood trauma. From Timbuktu, he insists, though the label says Marvelous Moroccan Mart, LLC, Global Trade's awkward adolescence. You pocket the packet anyway. Its scent promises to redeem your cooking sins. Dried apricots glisten, amber orbs threaded on twine. They sway hypnotic as a cobra's dance. Your stomach growls. The vendor winks, free taste. You bite. Sun-drenched sweetness dissolves into carob pulp. Street market bait and switch. Classic. A henna artist grabs your wrist. Her needlework resembles Arab outlet maps. Special price for you, she begins. You flee. Past rug merchants unfurling carpets that devour alleyways, each not recounting Berber shepherd lullabies. Smoke plumes twist, grilled lamb heaped on flatbreads charred to carbon comics. You pay in euros, get change in dirhams, and a parsley sprig. Vendor math defies Pythagorean theorems. Guitar chords twang from a hidden cafe. Nawa music's trance rhythms syncing with your pulse. Lanterns dim. Stars sharpen. The Milky Way smears across Medina rooftops, celestial spilled milk. A cat slinks past, striped like a miniature tiger. It pauses, glares at your sensible hiking sandals. Tourist, it sneezes. Or maybe Toulouse. Language barriers plague everyone here. You stumble into the dyer's quarter, indigo vats bubble like witches' cauldrons. A boy dips wool, hands stained blue to the elbows. Mainstream fact: medieval dyers used fermented urine to fix pigments. His bucket steams suspiciously. You sidestep. Rooftop calls to prayer echo, muezzin voices blending with honking Renault taxis. Moonlight slicks the alleys, turning potholes into mercury puddles. Your shadow stretches giraffe-necked and wavering. Jet lags funhouse mirror. A fortune teller's parrot squawks, beware the third olive. Its beak clicks. You toss a coin. The bird swallows it, metallic gulp echoing. Ominous, or just mineral deficient. Saffron threads melt on your tongue, golden bitterness blooms. Memory stutters. Suddenly 8 years old, stealing turmeric from grandma's kitchen. The market pivots, stalls rearrange like a slot machine. Spice-induced vertigo topping tonight's menu. A tea vendor beckons. His brass pots spout, curved like a heron's neck. Mint leaves crunch underfoot with every pour. You sip, sugar crystals dissolve against your molars. Liquid diabetes. Worth it. Leather-bound Qurans line a stall next to bootleg Netflix DVDs. Centuries collide. A teenager buffs PlayStation controllers with rose oil. For smooth headshots, he explains. Desert pragmatism. Your phone dies its final act. 17% battery, translating, where's the toilet? Into catastrophic Arabic. A baker points down an alley strung with goat heads. Follow the flies. Solid advice. Lanterns gutter out. The market dims to cobalt whispers. Your footsteps echo off shuttered ironwork. A shadow detaches, offers special night tour. His breath smells of anise and red flags. You decline. Twice. Dawn bleeds, pink streaks diluting the stars. Shopkeepers roll down shutters, metal growls drowning the last cricket's chirp. Pigeons wage seed wars atop date palm fronds. Your pocket buzzes, the common packet vibrates. Heatless, weightless, map fragment. Insect apocalypse. You drop it. A cat pounces, batting the spice into a gutter. Mystery remains unsolved, market magic at work. Muezzin calls again, fainter now. Your tongue traces saffron residue, golden sorrow lingering. Somewhere, a door slams. Coffee beans roast, their acrid perfume chasing the night's last ghosts. Cobblestones warm underfoot, captured sunlight rising through leather soles. Your shadow shrinks, tourist edges softening. The market exhales. You inhale, carrying its breath into the white-hot day. Laurel leaves crush underfoot, their resinous musk clinging to your sandals. You climb each switchback, revealing more goats than steps. Legend claims Apollo slew Python here, though the only snakes you spot are sunning tourists. Marble shards poke through time patches, remnants of Delphi's. Don't touch policy from 500 BCE. A breeze carries sulfur and sage, the sacred cocktail that supposedly opened Pythia's third eye. Mainstream fact. Priestesses chewed bay leaves before prophecies. Nature's ancient breath mints. The amphitheater yawns, stone benches cradling millenniums of bud imprints. You half expect a popcorn vendor. Instead, silence, so thick it prickles your eardrums. Historians still debate whether the oracle's riddles were divine visions or strategic ambiguity for political deniability. Sunlight slices through cypress trees, projecting dagger shadows across the temple floor. Your elbow brushes the omphalos stone, the world's belly button. It's lukewarm, slightly sticky. Did someone rub gel on Gaia's navel? A park ranger materializes, her walkie-talkie crackling with demo versions of lyre music. Pythia worked part-time, she mutters. 9 months, a year, avoiding the fumes. Quirky tidbit delivered. You picture an ancient LinkedIn profile. Oracle seeking flexible hours. The Aditan's entrance gapes, a mouth missing its golden tongue. Moss carpets the tripod where Pythia once perched. Her seat's splintered wood resembles low-grade IKEA furniture divinity on a budget. You sniff petrichor and bat guano with top notes of forgotten offerings. Modern pilgrims left drachma-shaped chocolates and 2024 Olympics merch. A squirrel drags away a Zeus bobblehead. Divine redistribution. Rockface inscriptions shimmer, ancient Yelp reviews etched in marble. Best prophecy ever. 5 stars, though the priestess seemed kinda zooted. Below it, someone scratched fate mid in Koine Greek. Trolls, older than democracy. A fig tree's shadow stretches, its fingers tapping your shoulder. You freeze. Oracle vibes. No, just a leaf tickling your neck. Paranoia pairs well with sacred sites. 3 French teens try dowsing rods near the Athenian treasury. Metal twitches, not due to underground springs. Their iPhone's compass app fights for relevance. Geomantic glitches. Sunset bleeds across MT. Parnassus. The sky a riot of peach and hematite. You half hear chants, or maybe tinnitus from climbing 800 steps. Bonus. Cardio-induced hallucinations count as mystical experiences here. Your water bottle sweats, condensation mirroring the temple's weeping walls. A guard eyes you. No touching the geological trauma, he deadpans. Delphi's gift shop sells tear-shaped amulets. Night crawls up the valley, swallowing columns whole. Cicadas throttle their volume. You linger, hoping for a prophetic whisper. The wind offers grocery list fragments instead. Olives, incense, fixed tripod leg. Moonlight prize at the stadium's starting blocks. Ghost athletes still jostling for position. You sprint 20 steps. Lose to a millennium-old record by, well, centuries. Participation trophy earned. An owl swoops, wing beats syncing with your pulse. Athena's mascot, or a well-timed park ranger drone. Feathers graze your hair, dropping a single laurel leaf into your palm. Dawn's first rays strike the tholos, its remaining pillars blushing pink. Your shadow bows to nothing, rehearsing reverence. Somewhere, a goat sneezes. The oracle's last echo fades into tour bus engines. Rain needles your skin. Monsoon winds slap palm fronds into frenzied applause. Bronze gongs shudder nearby, their vibrations humming through temple stones into your molars. You follow the sound, slipping on moss-slick steps older than Marco Polo's vacation stories. A gamelan materializes, musicians hammering keys under a collapsing awning. Their mallets blur, raindrops freeze midair to avoid ruining the rhythm. Mainstream fact: these orchestras soundtracked royal rituals since Bali's Hindu golden age 12 centuries back. Tonight's setlist: storm versus civilization, offerings spiral past, hibiscus petals, and sticky rice squares riding runoff like edible confetti. A frog leaps onto your sandal, its throat pouch inflating in time with the kendang drum. Locals whisper certain bronze metallophones copy amphibian courting calls. Quirky tidbit served with a side of ribbit. Lightning forks igniting 1,000 stone carvings mid-dance. Demon faces leer from pillar bases. Garuda statues rust their wings. Historians still argue whether the 1800s, faster, flashier gamelan style reflected artistic rebellion, or Dutch colonizers, shrinking attention spans. You duck into a pavilion, shoulder to shoulder, with drenched tourists and a shivering schnauzer. The roof leaks in tempo, plink-plonking a water percussion solo. Someone's phone rings. The default tone battles a Jegogan's drone. Spoiler: bamboo xylophones win. A musician thrusts a rhubarb fiddle at you, its coconut shell body buzzing like an enraged hornet. Play monsoon. He grins. You squeak the bow. 5 rats evacuate the offering basket. Mud oozes over your toes, cool and thick as Dalem witch ointment. Legend says temple guardians mold this clay at night, sculpting curse traps for sandal thieves. You step lighter. Thunder sinks to the Ganx's final note, a seismic boom that silences even the frogs. Rain pauses mid-fall. 12 seconds of pure resonance, the island holding its breath. Then the downpour resumes, twice as smug. The schnauzer howls. A gamelan girl tosses it a rice cake. Canine music critique. Choose thoughtfully. You wade toward uplands, thigh-deep in a road-turned river. Flashlight beams cut through the murk. A convenience store clerk kayaking chip bags to safety. Modern Bali hustles beneath the myth. Dawn leaks through clouds. Weak tea strained through a colander sky. Puddles mirror temple flags, their soggy fabric clinging to poles like defeated heroes. Your hotel towel smells of clove oil and regret. Somewhere, a gong's aftershock still pulses in a priest's left molar. Somewhere else, you forget which sandal's yours. Monsoon lullabies work fast. Your boots crunch through pumice snow each step, releasing the sharp tang of cooled lava. Basalt walls loom, hexagonal columns stacked by volcanic tantrums, a millennium past. A chill creeps up your spine, and it's not just the wind stealing your scarf's tail. 3 pebbles skitter ahead, rolling in perfect unison like marbles nudged by unseen fingers. Mainstream fact. Locals halted a highway project here in 73. Bulldozers broke down daily until engineers redesigned the route. The new path, a graceful curve around nothing. You stoop to pocket a glinting rock. It warms your palm like a never-lit cigarette. Better leave that, mutters a passing ranger, her flashlight beam catching on 13 stacked stones nearby. Quirky tidbit. Some tour guides swear elf construction crews rebuild these cairns nightly. Payment. Stolen shoelaces and lip balm. The temperature drops, your breath freezes into something that clinks when it hits the ground. Lichen glows. Chartres constellations mapping the ceiling's fissures. Historians still debate whether medieval settlers wove elf lore to explain geothermal oddities, or genuinely spotted smirking silhouettes in steam vents. A crevice beckons, narrow enough to squeeze through sideways. Your elbow dislodges a pebble. It falls for 7 full seconds before plinking into distant water. The walls hum, a baritone vibration, suggesting you really shouldn't be here. Something brushes your ankle, lighter than a spider's cough. You glance down. A woolen sock lies coiled like a hibernating snake, knitted from thread finer than human hands could spin. The second sock dangles 20 feet up, tugged by wind that isn't blowing. Moonlight fractures through prismatic ice, projecting runes onto the tunnel floor. They shift when you blink, modern Icelandic glyphs dissolving into Viking Age scribbles. A giggle echoes, or maybe just groundwater squeaking through basalt. Your headlamp dies. The lichen brightens in response, guiding you toward an alcove strewn with doll-sized tools. A pickaxe no longer than your thumb, a chisel with flecks of gold in its handle. One steel-toed boot size, unimaginably small. Tour groups ahead lies the ranger when you backtrack, her eyes darting to your half-frostbitten ears. She offers lukewarm cocoa from a thermos. You decline. The steam smells suspiciously of black licorice and spite. Dawn leaks through lava tubes, striping the rocks like roasted tiger's eye. Your hotel key glows faintly in your pocket. The receptionist claimed it was RFID. You know better now. Somewhere a tiny anvil clangs as geothermal vents hiss approval. Somewhere closer, your left bootlace goes missing. You pretend not to notice. Iceland's rules: play along, keep walking, and never mention the sock. Your boots sink into peony petals each step, releasing crushed floral musk. Moonlit silk curtains billow, embroidered with forgotten verses that shimmer like trapped minnows. A zither's final chord lingers, so resonant you taste plum wine on your tongue. Mainstream fact. Tang nobles once paid 12 ounces of silver for a single peony blossom. This garden reeks of arrogance. Servants flit through moonbeams, their silk slippers whispering across lacquered floors. You snag a wine cup abandoned on a railing, the porcelain still warm. Quirky tidbit. Archaeologists found jars here labeled Empress's Midnight Mist, likely hair oil laced with poppy and jade dust. You don't sniff it. Wise choice. The pavilion's heart holds an ivory-inlaid table scrolls, unfurled to reveal landscapes painted with tea instead of ink. Brush strokes blur as you watch mountains melting into rivers that flow sideways. A servant materializes, offering candied lotus root shaped like calligraphy brushes. Historians still argue whether Tang poets used hallucinogenic tonics or just really loved their cheap rice wine. Wind plucks a four-note melody from wind chimes. It matches your pulse point for point. Petals swirl into your hair. One sticks to your cheek like a temporary tattoo. You resist licking it. Probably not hygienic. 3 corridors branch ahead, each draped in a different grade of silk. The left shimmers raw and coarse, a merchant's bargain bin. The right gleams smoother than ice, fit for imperial envoys. You choose the middle path. Its moth-eaten fabric prickles your forearm. Smart. Moths mean secrets. A hexagonal window frames a moon twice its normal size. Scholars claim Tang astronomers mapped eclipses using water clocks, but you bet that thing's not playing by orbital rules. Duck, your elbow grazes a screen painted with cranes, their wings flutter. Across the room, a real crane pecks at your discarded wine cup. It side-eyes you. You side-eye back. Standoff. Thunder rumbles, except it's just a servant rolling a bronze food cart over uneven tiles. Steam rises from bamboo baskets, their contents unknown, but aggressively floral. You lift a lid. Mist coats your face. It smells like your great aunt's perfume. Snap it shut. The zither starts again, strings plucked by no visible hand. Melodies coil around pillars' notes, so low they vibrate your molars. Beneath the platform, carp flicker in a koi pond. One surfaces its scales, glinting with recognizable constellations. You count 7 stars along its spine. Make a wish. Dawn bleeds through silk, turning vermilion threads into liquid fire. Servants dissolve like sugar in tea, their giggles lingering near the ceiling. The final zither note stretches, snags, breaks. You exhale. Something heavy settles in your pocket, a peony seed pod warm and ridged like a tiny skull. Plant it, smoke it. The crane squawks, a judgmental burst of noise. You pocket the pod. Last petal falls. The pavilion dims, curtains collapsing into piles of threadbare rags. Only the moon remains, a slivered smirk overhead. Time to go. The crane follows, its shadow merging with yours. You pretend not to notice. Some secrets prefer chasing over being caught. Your souls meet quartz-studded earth, each step crackling like radio static. Appalachian fog wraps your ankles damp and persistent as a needy cat. Those painted trail blazes, gone, erased by mist that smells of wet granite and pine resin. You tow a quartz vein. It thrums like a subway track under Manhattan. Continental plates may be glacial lovers, but their gossip still pulses through these stones. Mainstream fact. Engineers built this trail during the Great Depression, thousands of hungry hands carving a path through ancient rock. Their pickaxe scars hide under lichen now, softened into something almost natural. Almost. Your palm finds a boulder, its surface pocked with fossilized ripples from a Paleozoic sea. Saltwater ghosts brush your wrist. Don't ask how. Quirky tidbit. Locals swear the quartz outcrops whisper, tune your ear right, and catch warnings about flash floods or amorous bears. You press your cheek to cool stone. Silence. Then a vibration like a bassoon's lowest note. Your fillings buzz. Coincidence? Sure. Nightshade berries glint in underbrush, tiny obsidian orbs promising delirium or death. You pocket one. For science. A downy feather drifts into view, barred like a prison uniform. Owl, or someone's shredded pillow. The fog thickens, turning your flashlight beam into a blunt instrument. Switch it off. Better this way. Shelter logs mention singing stones. Hear entries scribbled in fading pencil and paranoid cursive. One hiker swore they heard Gregorian chants. Another insisted it was bass-heavy EDM. Historians still argue whether Depression-era workers embedded phonograph cylinders in the bedrock, or if altitude just melts brains after day 3. Your canteen sloshes, a rhythm syncopated against your heartbeat. You unscrew the cap, inhale. That's not your trusty stainless steel. The scent of birch beer and turpentine wafts up. Appalachian Trail magic, equal parts sweet and suspect. You sip, regret it immediately. Moss muffles your steps as the trail forks. Leftward, a lichen-furred cairn with a raccoon's skull perched atop. Rightward, a freshly painted blaze so neon it hurts your retinas. You split the difference, plowing straight into rhododendron thickets. Thorns snag your sleeve. A trade-off for avoiding obvious choices. Moonlight leaks through clouds, dousing the quartz in cheap sequin glamour. The stones thrum louder, hear their frequency rattling your molars. You kneel, press both palms to the ground. A subsonic hum climbs your spine, message received, Earth's crust. Now knock it off. Something crunches underfoot. Not leaves, glasses. You think, bending to inspect. Nope. Deer vertebrae polished by time into ivory dominoes. You line them up along a log. Roll a joint from last fall's oak leaves. The vertebrae tremble, snake eyes. Dawn bleeds through, streaking the fog with dilute orange. The quartz dims, its vibrations fading to a dentist's drill whine. You kick a stone. It skitters downhill, waking a barred owl that swoops past your ear. Almost a caress, almost a threat. Your pack feels lighter. Unbuckle it. A fist-sized quartz cluster nestles inside, gleaming like congealed moonlight. Trail magic or theft. The owl hoots once, a sound that could mean keep it, or you'll regret this. You zip the rock away, let karma sort it out. The path reasserts itself, muddy boot prints leading east. Another hiker, or your own ghost from yesterday. You follow anyway. The stones stay silent. For now. The quartz cluster in your pack grows warm, heat seeping through nylon to kiss your spine. You unzip it. The rock pulses like a dying starlet's final flashbulb, then darkness. When light returns, your nose to cracked plaster with a bull. Not the living kind, ochre pigment flaking off its arched spine. A fresco bull, palace walls box you in terracotta columns blurred by 3,000 years of salt air. Your fingers graze THE Chinese letter, dust motes rise like lazy fireflies. The Minoans mixed their paints with egg yolk and bull's blood. Mainstream fact. Makes the colors stick. Also explains why everything smells like a rancid omelet. A leaper mid-flip dominates the wall, her cinnamon curls frozen in motion. Historians still argue whether those gravity-defying backbends were real sport or just artistic flair. You half expect her to wink, pull a ta-da face. Instead, her smile crumbles. Plaster sighs as her arm dissolves into gold-tinged powder. Something's wrong here. The floor shudders, not an earthquake. Hooves. A snort like an enraged espresso machine echoes through the corridor. You spin. No bull, just your shadow merging with the leapers on the wall. The air tastes of figs and imminent regret. That's when you spot the brush. Hog hair bristles stiff with dried paint, discarded near a ladder, missing 3 rungs. Quirky tidbit. Some restorers in the 1920s added creative touches to these frescoes. Ever seen a Minoan prince with a handlebar mustache? Didn't think so. Wind snakes through the palace, carrying a melody of clanking bronze and sheep bells. You follow it past dolphin frescoes, their smiles too wide. Thanks again to enthusiastic conservators. Into a courtyard, moonlight pools in a larnax, clay coffin-shaped like a bathtub. You peek inside. Empty. Unless you count the suspiciously fresh olive pit. Your quartz rock glows again, throwing shadows that twist into bullhead silhouettes on the walls. A guttural moan rips through the night. The real kind this time. You duck behind a pithos jar as hooves clack against limestone. Peek out, a white bull charges through the courtyard. Riderless, halterless, horns glinting like scimitars. Marine-style pottery lines the corridor, octopuses, forever midrigal. You grab a vase, defensive strategy, or future eBay listing. The bull skids past, its hot breath curling your hair. Its tail flicks and swipes the vase from your grip. Ceramic shards skitter. Antiques roadshow weeps, fleeing through a maze of storerooms. You trip over a clay tablet, linear, a script squirming like electrocuted worms. Untranslated to this day. A historian's nightmare. A poet's playground. You pocket it. The bull's roar rattles your molars. Daedalus himself couldn't design a worse escape route. Every turn leads to more bull, more horns, more fresco leapers smirking at your panic. Finally, a stairwell. You take the steps 3 at a time, emerging onto a roof slick with dew. The Aegean spreads below, waves silvered by a drowning moon. The bull's snorts fade. Silence. Then, a sound like wet plaster cracking. You turn. The entire palace wall buckles, leaper, bull, dolphin smiles, all flaking into the abyss. What remains? a blank stretch of limestone, and one perfectly preserved handprint in ochre. Your quartz flashes, searing your palm. When vision clears, you're back in the Appalachian mist. Dawn pinks the horizon. Your pack lies open, the quartz cluster now dull as sidewalk concrete. The clay tablet's gone. In its place, a single saffron thread twisted into a bull's horn shape. You lift it to the light. It disintegrates, staining your fingertips sunrise yellow. The owl hoots overhead, mocking, applauding, hard to say. The trail ahead glistens, newly washed and whisper-free. For now, the saffron stains on your fingertips catch the first starlight, glowing like desert fireflies trapped under skin. Moon-washed dunes roll ahead, a sea frozen mid-crest. Timbuktu's shadow looms, sand-blasted ramparts, hunched against the Harmattan's endless whisper. You step into the labyrinth. Mud brick walls press close, their cracks oozing the scent of aged paper. A leather-bound tome lies abandoned in an alcove, its pages fluttering like moth wings. 10th century Malian scribes used indigo from Senegal, and gold leaf pounded thinner than breath. Mainstream fact. The margins crawl with star charts, Ursa Major's tail bent at a peculiar angle. Historians still argue whether these diagrams rivaled Galileo's telescopes or merely charted caravan routes. Wind riffles the vellum. A sketch of the Niger River dissolves into inky constellations. Your quartz crystal hums, pulling you toward a half-buried door. The wood crumbles at your touch, revealing steps spiraling into bedrock. The air thickens, stale musk of camel skin inkwells and panic sweat. Quirky tidbit. Some manuscripts were hidden in termite-proof goat hide during Tuareg raids. You half expect a curse, or at least a stern librarian. Instead, moonlight slants through a crack above, gilding shelves stacked with crumbling folios. A star map flutters loose, its corners nibbled by silverfish. You catch it mid-fall. Scorpio's claws clutch a notation in Maghrebi script. When the tail stings, the scholar flees. Before you can ponder this, sand trickles from the ceiling, a granular waterfall erasing the text. Your boots crunch something brittle. Date pits centuries old scatter like dice. 17 steps ahead, a mosaic glimmers, its turquoise tiles spelling Sankore in spiraled Kufic script. The university's lost archives, mainstream fact. You kneel, fingertips brushing cold stone. A rasping breath echoes behind you. Not yours, not human. The sound of papyrus being torn very slowly. You freeze. Moonlight shifts, revealing a figure hunched over a lectern. Its robe shimmers, woven from Saharan twilight and something older. The scribe's quill drips ink blacker than a mosque shadow. You cough. Polite intruder etiquette. The scribe turns its face, a blank expanse of vellum stretched over bone. The quill still moves, scratching symbols into its own parchment skin. Historians would kill for this. You'd prefer a Gatorade and GPS. Sand seeps through the ceiling, filling the chamber like a silent hourglass. The scribe points its quill westward. A tile pops loose, revealing a niche stacked with ironclad chests. You pry one open. Moonbeams ignite the contents. 1,000 gilded pages flare like desert suns. Sudden heat sears your palm. The quartz glows white-hot. You drop it. The crystal melts into the sand, a glassy puddle reflecting star-pocked skies. The scribe hisses. Pages swirl into a miniature sandstorm, obliterating constellations, rewriting myths. A leather strap snaps, chest lids slam shut. Darkness. When your phone's flashlight flickers on, the room stands empty, just cracked tiles, and your own ragged breath. The ceiling groan warns of collapsing dunes. You bolt up the stairs, cotton robes snagging on splintered wood. Dawn stains the horizon watermelon pink. The Sankore mosaic lies buried under fresh sand. Only a single cobalt tile peeks through. You pocket it. Cold metal odd for Timbuktu's 180-degree summers. The scribe's final gift, or a really misplaced IKEA piece. Wind sculpts the dunes into new ridges, burying yesterday's footprints, tomorrow's secrets. Your shirt clings, damp with stolen library, humidity, and existential dread. A camel bell clangs in the distance. The harmattan exhales, scattering the last surviving page across the erg. You catch one phrase mid-flight. Seek the salt's sixth prism before it becomes just another grain in the Sahara's hourglass. Salt-crusted air slaps your cheeks. The Sahara's oven heat replaced by knife-sharp cold. Your sandals vanish, reborn as sealskin boots crunching over pressure ridges. A never-ending white until the ice groans, not a sound, a vibration shuddering up your shins. You pause, breath hanging like a frozen chandelier. Another deep thrum answers. Historians note Inuit throat singing began as a game between women, breath-mimicking walrus bellows and wind-dripped sails, mainstream fact. But this, the ice itself croons in basso profundo, its ribs creaking under 1 billion tons of dark water. A black smear darts below your feet. Seal, or something wearing sealskin. Quirky tidbit. Elders say the animals hear human songs through ice pores, trading lullabies with unborn hunters. You kneel, palms flat on the flow. Your diaphragm quivers. An experimental hum escapes, clumsy as a first kiss. The ice answers. Walls of sound ricochet guttural pulses and whistles snipped from northern lights. Your ribs buzz like tuning forks. Distant figures materialize, hooded shapes moving in time to the rhythm. No, not moving. Swaying. Rooted. They're not wearing parkas, wearing the cold itself. One turns. You expect a face. Instead, a mask of sea-smoothed bone riddled with breathing holes. Its song tangles with yours, forcing your lungs into odd contortions. Historians still argue whether throat singing imitated animals or communed with spirits. The ice seems opinionated. Your mitten tears, skin meets frost. Pain blooms, then fades as the melody seeps into marrow. The bone singer tilts its head. A whiskered snout erupts through a mask hole, pink nostrils flaring. Ringed seal, polar bear, or a third thing cracks spiderweb beneath you. The singers dissolve, ice melt cascading where their feet stood. You backpedal, heel catching on a hummock, falling, flailing, but the impact never comes. Frozen brine cradles your spine, a jellied hammock. The seal smudge resurfaces, inches under your shoulder blades. Above, auroras fracture into prismatic shards. Below, the seal's silhouette bleeds into liquid shadow. Your throat hums unbidden now, vocal cords puppeteered by the flow's heartbeat. Salt water seeps through your parka, yet you feel no cold. Just the buzz, the chant, the silken drag of tidal lungs, a snap like God's guitar string. The ice splits, revealing obsidian water. You roll aside as a harpoon erupts skyward, rusty iron crowned with narwhal tusk. 5 more follow, an exploded bouquet of frozen armaments. Quirky tidbit: explorers found 19th century whaling gear in Inuit caches, never explained. Moonlight glints on the closest harpoon. Engraved letters, HMS Terror. Your fingers graze the shaft, frostbite be damned. The ice bucks, wood creaks far below, a ship's carcass, ascending. Planks burst through the surface, oak ribs veiled in kelp. Singing stops. Even the auroras freeze mid-flicker. The wreck exudes silence, a spongy, muffling kind that swallows echoes. A plank cracks, something moves in the hull. Not a rat. Worse, a humanoid shape, icicle limbs jerking like a marionette. Its jaw unhinges, no sound emerges. Just pressure. You try to scream. Your vocal cords flap uselessly, fish on a line. The thing takes a step. Ice disintegrates underfoot, plunging it into the drink. Black water boils, then stills. The singers reappear, forming a ring around the shipwreck. Their new song isn't human. Lower, hungrier. When you blink, the ice is just ice. No harpoons, no phantom ship, but your boot squelches, soaked in seawater that steamed 3 seconds ago. Overhead, the auroras reboot in washed-out greens. A seal barks, the kind that says, "You're welcome, now leave." Dawn bleeds across the tundra, weak tea tinged with petrol. You find your campsite undisturbed, thermos still warm. Only evidence: a frost-bearded harmonica in your pocket. Blowing it produces a single note, the ice's final snicker. Historians would kill for this relic. You'd prefer a bear claw necklace and industrial strength hand cream. The flow resumes its whispers, half melody, half threat. You pocket the harmonica. Some tunes aren't meant for daylight. The harmonica's chill lingers in your pocket, its frost replaced by desert heat between one blink and the next. Rose-red cliffs rise, jagged as a sleeping dragon's spine. Sunset turns sandstone into molten copper. You half expect it to scorch your fingerprints. Your boots crunch over gravel polished smooth by 1,000 caravans. The Silk Road's forgotten throat. One mainstream fact sneaks in. Petra thrived on taxing frankincense traders, Nabatean kings, getting rich off camel sweat and myrrh. A lone ibex watches from a ledge, its horns curling like ancient Hebrew script. Wind funnels through the sick, a mile-long crack in the earth. The air smells of dry lichen and buried iron. Your shoulder brushes the canyon wall smooth as a cathedral pipe organ. Faint grooves catch your thumb. Nabatean stonemasons left chisel marks for the afterlife's union reps. You round the final bend. Al-Khosne's facade punches through the shadows. 2,000 years of pigeon shit can't dim those columns. Hellenistic grandeur filtered through Bedouin pragmatism. Tourists swarm below, selfie sticks jab like mating crane flies. Quirky tidbit, locals whisper the treasury's door aligns with winter solstice light, a celestial key for hidden chambers. You squint, noon glare smears the geometry. Sand trickles down the cliff, a sound like radio static. Your pulse sinks to it. Or is that humming? Stone vibrates under your palm, subsonic murmurs trapped since the Roman annexation. Historians still argue whether Petra's rock-cut channels carried water or screams from sacrificial rites. The walls offer no comment, just a dusty sigh. Shade swallows the canyon floor, blue creeping up the cliffs like reverse sunrise. A wind-whipped scrap of papyrus sticks to your boot. Unreadable script, either Nabatean graffiti or a grocery list for Queen Areta's IV. You pocket it, future use problem. Dusk transforms the canyon into a bard's lyre. Every footstep plucks a new echo. The last bus leaves, ripping tourists away like pageant losers. Silence pools in the amphitheater's bowl. Your flashlight beam catches a carved face, worn smooth as sea glass. One eye remains obsidian inlay glinting with vandalized wisdom. Your canteen sloshes too loud. The echo bounces off facades. Library, palace, tomb of the urn each, tossing the sound like a hot potato. A rock dislodges somewhere above. Ibex, or the fabled jinns stonemasons supposedly hired for hard-to-reach cornices. Moonrise bleaches the cliffs bone-white. Stars crowd the narrow sky, constellations the Nabateans renamed for their dead accountants. You trace a petroglyph goat, its horns spiraling into oblivion. The stone feels feverish, or maybe that's your sunburn. A nightjar's call splits the dark, or a broken flute. Your flashlight dies, cooperative timing. The treasury's uppermost urn glows faintly. Not reflected moonlight, something within. History murmurs about Roman treasure hunters who tunneled for gold and melted into the walls. You test a weathered step. It crumbles like sugar cake. Sand whispers down hidden channels. Petra's original plumbing giggling at your ignorance. A shadow detaches from the monastery's facade, too tall, too still. Bedouin folklore warns of the silent ones, guardian statues that only walk when unobserved. You turn, cobblestones grind, turn back the shadows closer. Jaw clenched, no flashlight, no witnesses. The thing smells of crushed flint and expired mule contracts. Your heels find the canyon wall, nowhere to retreat. 3 heartbeats pass. A match flares, illuminating a Bedouin guide's smirk. Lost, Habibi. His keffiyeh flutters, suspiciously statuesque in the shadows. You mutter something about bathroom signage. He gestures westward, cliffside tombs staring like empty eye sockets. Real magic's there. Moonlight exposes his lack of footprints. You follow anyway, Instagram versus reality, desert edition. The path narrows, ankle twister alley. Your guide dissolves into a dust devil. Classic. But the spot he indicated, a crack in the rock, oozing cold air. Squeeze through, shoulders scraping both walls. The passage opens into a chamber even Google Maps missed. Flashlight resurrects. Its beam catches a painted ceiling. Zodiac signs fused with camel brands. Nabatean astrology meets overland trade. Murals show processions of merchants and hooded figures carrying something that bleeds shadow. A grinding noise above your exit, sealing itself. Air stirs. Something unspools from a burial niche. Not a cobweb. Papyrus, browned but intact. The script shifts as you stare, Greek to Aramaic to emoji-like symbols. A child's doodle of a 3-humped camel winks. Quirky tidbit. Ottoman soldiers reported hearing market noises. Hear ghost haggling over ghost spices. Your phone buzzes, first signal in hours. Ancient Wanderer 42 at Reddit. Dude, get out. Too late. The chamber's ceiling lowers, or the floor rises. Sand cascades from newly revealed cubbies, along with Roman coins and a Nokia 3310. Multi-layered haunting. Pressure builds in your sinuses. A thunderstorm's worth of static. The papyrus scorches your grip, embers spelling Alaza in glowing resin. Nabatean moon goddess. Teenage rebellion phase involved avalanches. You pocket the relic, regretting life choices. The sand reaches your knees. Last-ditch prayer to St. Nicholas, patron saint of pawnbrokers. A grinding shriek, stone jaws freeze mid-bite. Moonlight floods the chamber from a new slit, exit upgrade. You wriggle through, emerging behind a no-entry, signs rusty post. Dawn stains Petra peach pink. Your canteen's empty, tongue like cured leather. The Bedouin camp's morning fire beckons. As you stagger downhill, the cliffs chuckle low and raspy, a sound felt more than heard. Your stolen papyrus feels heavier. By the coffee tent, a German tourist films a tick-tock dance atop a tomb. Her selfie stick reflects something in the canyon behind you, a shadow stretching upright. Smooth, featureless, smirking. You order shy extra sugar. Priorities. The first sip's sweetness mingles with sandstone dust, Petra's signature aftertaste. Somewhere above, a nightjar loops its broken flute serenade. Or maybe it's the city itself, humming through geological time. Your fingers find the harmonica, still cold despite the desert. Secrets for secrets. Fair trade. The harmonica's cold bites deeper, desert heat, vanishing like a snuffed candle. Marble colonnades erupt around you, stone lacework, blooming in predark. Versailles shivers under glass frost, dawn's first blush, trapped in ice. You blink, fountains hang mid-plume, water frozen into chandelier shards. Your breath ghosts past, the only motion in the grand canal's mirror stillness. A mainstream fact surfaces. Louis XIV ordered fountains silent unless he walked by hydration as performance art. Your boots crunch gravel meant for silk slippers. Sun King's eco-unfriendly flex. Imagine the water bills. Diana's statue glares, frost sugaring her stone bow. Versailles loves contradictions. Gilt moldings flake onto mildew-speckled parquet, that wax scandal stench. 3 centuries of melted vanity. Quirky tidbit. Marie Antoinette's wig once caught fire here, courtiers doused it with champagne. You eye the nearest fountain. Ice wouldn't help. The orangery's windows rattle, a breath not your own. Topiary hedges crouch like shaved bison. Ahead, the Latona fountain's tiered basins should burble. Instead, stillness mocks you. Frog-snouted gods sneer under ice beards. Historians still argue whether the Hall of Mirrors was built to dazzle ambassadors or let spies watch reflections. You touch a frozen jet, it weeps one lukewarm drop. The ice creaks, a whale song vibration underfoot. Your palm comes away sticky. Not water, gum Arabic. Some ducks attempt to scent Versailles with Nile trade winds. Fail. A glint snags your eye, Apollo's chariot mid-leap. Gilded horses' nostrils flare at something behind you. Don't look. Palace ghosts prefer peripheral vision. Direct eye contact voids the warranty. Cobblestones click like a wind-up toy's gears. Moonlight bleeds into dawn. Frost retreats up marble calves, revealing chips in the facade. That Cupid's missing an arrow. That nymph's got a graffiti mustache. Versailles endures through selective blindness. The gardens exhale, thawing jasmine smothers the scent of damp wool. Your knees crack as you crouch, digging a pebble from your boot. Balance shifts your nose to nose with a mossy satyr. Its grin says gotcha, fair. Eastward, the first gilded window flares. A shadow crosses it, too hunched for a guard. Flash of periwinkle silk. No one's worn that since well. You tread quieter, soles skimming gravel. Dawn's a gossip here. Every footstep gets archived. The Apollo basin's ice cracks. A shotgun pop. You freeze. Ripples spread across the newly liquid surface, but no wind. Something drifts beneath the ice, pale as a queen's knucklebone, just a swan's feather. Probably ahead, the dragon fountain's snarling maw dribbles black water. Its basin swirls with dead leaves, and are those oyster shells? Louis XVI's last supper leftovers. History's compost pile. Your stomach growls, traitorous organ. 3 paths branch from here. Left, hedge maze. Straight, chapel, right. That weird grotto where nobles peed between parties. You veer left, mazes feel safer with daylight coming. Topiary arches claw at your jacket boxwood, groping for loose change. Halfway in your phone buzzes. Ancient Wanderer 42. Check the fucking sundial. You pivot, boot scuffing a carved date, 1789. ominous. The sundial's shadow stretches toward a small door, oak planks swollen shut. Kick it. Tempting. Hinges shriek, your molars vibrate. Inside, a chair, a wig stand, dusty bottles labeled vermilion for my pillow lips. This explains the portraiture. Quirky tidbit. Courtiers ground diamonds into rouge bankruptcy with a healthy glow. The door slams. Wax seal air, no handle on this side. Your pulse jackhammers. Sarcasm won't save you now, but try anyway. Should have taken the pea grotto. Light filters through ceiling cracks, faint as weak tea. A ledger lies open, column after column of numbers. Wine expenses, troop deployments, the price of silencing a laundress, blackmail as accounting. Your thumb smudges an entry, 20 livers for werewolf deterrent herbs. Versailles never disappoints. A draft stirs, pages flip wildly. The room contracts. You lunge as the door reappears, shoulder checking through into rose garden glare. Blinded, stumble, something crunches underfoot, a wax-sealed scroll. Pension demands from the ice house staff. Demands ignored, hence this morning's frost party. The harmonious rock grove looms, fake boulders placed for wild picnic vibes. A grinding noise, stone slides against stone, not the fountain's waking. A hidden compartment grinds open, revealing rusted levers. Fontaine des Aujours et Nuit controls. You pull, nothing. Pull harder. Gears howl metal on metal. The palace shudders. Fountains vomit ice shards. Apollo's chariot now crowns a geyser. Water arcs toward the Grand Trianon, reenacting that time. A drunken duke flood-irrigated the tulips. Dawn proper now. Golden hour gilds the chaos. Guards shout in French. Doors slam. You book it toward the hall of battles. If they're blaming vandals, best not be center frame. A marble bust watches from a niche. Madame de Pompadour's side-eye immortalized in limestone. You toss her the wax scroll. Catch queen. The grounds churn gardeners, in nightshirts wrestle hoses. A peacock screeches its tail, frozen mid-fan. You duck behind a statue of who cares. The harmonica warms in your pocket, ice melting into drizzle. East Terrace's clock tower chimes 7. Tourists mass at the gates, their selfie sticks twitching like antennae. Time to exit stage left. Down the royal alley, chestnut trees hiss with last night's rain. Your shoes squelch. Classy. The gates loom, golden spikes dipped in sunrise. One guard squints at your muddy hem. You flash a brochure, lost the loo, monsieur. He waves you through. Charm. Versailles original currency. Coffee kiosks erupt. Espresso steam melts the morning chill. You sip, facing the palace. Sunlight claws up its facade, window panes flashing like flipped coins. Somewhere inside, a shadow peels off the wall, but dawn's too bright for ghosts. The fountains burble awake, their mechanical hearts thumping beneath your feet. Your phone dings. Ancient Wanderer 42. Bruh, the wig. You glance back. Madame de Pompadour's bust now sports the scroll like a tiny, vengeful hat. Priorities. The harmonica's last cold note melts. Desert air, replaces Versailles frostcling. Uluru looms, a rusted titan catching twilight on its flanks. Your boots crunch spinifex grass each step, releasing peppery resin. Mainstream fact: songlines thread this land, ancestral GPS mapping water holes through sacred chants. Google Maps could never. Stars bloom, constellations you've never seen pulse like slow fireworks. The Milky Way's sprawl mirrors, glowing footprints underfoot, blue-white smudges leading east. Quirky tidbit: old Tijuker claim honey ants stack quartz pebbles before monsoons. Though last week's forecast was all dust, you kick a suspiciously neat rock pile. Who's laughing now? Night wind carries voices, not echoes, but something older. Your shadow stretches crooked, Uluru's curves warp its edges. Historians still argue whether songlines are spiritual metaphor or actual sound frequencies humming through iron-rich bedrock. Place your palm on sun-warmed stone. Feels like a bass line or indigestion. Hard to tell. A dingo yips, its howl splintering the dark. You freeze. Spinifex pricks your calves, green bayonets guarding secrets. The footprints brighten, urging you toward a sandstone overhang. Cave art flickers in peripheral vision. Ochre hands, stenciled 40,000 years back. One pinky's smudged, ancient oops, immortalized. Your canteen sloshes last lukewarm sip, tasting of plastic and regret. Above, the emu in the sky constellation stretches, dark dust clouds forming legs, not stars. Aboriginal astronomy flex, imagining shapes in cosmic voids. Take that, zodiac signs. Moonlight bleeds into the rock, Uluru turns mercury silver. A chill creeps up your neck. Not fear, just the desert's 50-degree swing. You huddle in a wind-carved hollow, knees to chest. Mulga branches scratch Morse code overhead. Probably gossip. Dawn's first blush stains the east, footprints dissolving like mist. You stand too fast, head spinning with altitude or ancestor mojo. The land hums. Not a metaphor, actual subsonic rumbles from deep underground. Songline radio, tuned to 10,000 BCE. Sun cracks the horizon, Uluru ignites. Crimson fire floods its fissures. You squint. Is that a figure outlined on the summit? Probably pareidolia. Probably. Spinifex glows gold, cheatgrass made majestic. Ant trails map the sand, living songlines in miniature. You step over them carefully, respecting the commute. A honey ant waves its antennae. Not really. But play along, it's polite. Wind shifts, carrying the reek of distant brushfires. Your nose wrinkles. Modern Australia peppers ancient air. Then smoke parts. A wedge-tailed eagle glides past, its shadow tracing the songline's path. You follow, dust rising in apology with every step. By midday, your lips crack, blood beads where myth meets chapstick. The eagle vanishes. Ahead, a granite outcrop shaped like a turtle's shell. Songline checkpoint. You pat it. Warm. The rock shifts, just a trick of thirst. Shade offers respite. And cave art. stenciled boomerangs, dancing stick figures, a kangaroo mid-leap. Your phone's dead, no Instagram story. Sad emoji. You trace a handprint, fingertips aligning with someone's Pleistocene afternoon. Connection spans millennia until a fly invades your nostril. Authenticity. Sunset comes brutal, blazing the desert in technicolor. Uluru bleeds purple, then umber, then black. You're out of water, out of snacks, out of context. But the songline glimmers, footprints reigniting under starlight. Each step hums through your soul's ancestral karaoke, minus the lyrics. Stars dip Orion's belt, grazing spinifex tips. You grab at Sirius, pocket a star spark. Dawn finds you curled in a dry crypt. Uluru's shadow stretches west, arrow straight. The harmonica weighs heavy, no music here, but the land's own breath. You blow a silent note, and the desert answers, wind through cracks, pebbles skittering, life thrumming in red dirt. Footprints fade with the stars. Somewhere, honey ants stack pebbles hoping. A feather brushes your cheek, cool as moonlight, lighter than dawn's first sigh. Olive leaves rustle overhead, their silver undersides catching starlight like fish scales. The air shifts, sage and salt, tang from distant Aegean waves. Mainstream fact. Athena's sacred grove once held 1,000-year-old olive trees, irradiated survivors of Persian axes, still sprouting new shoots. Even Xerxes knew when to quit. Your fingers graze weathered bark ridges like coiled rope, sap sticky as resin tears. The owl glides past again, no sound beyond a breath over wine. Historians still argue whether Greek warriors carried owl amulets for wisdom, or because they looked badass on legionnaire drip. You squint, 3 feathers float down, each tipped with iridescent ink blots. Trophy or littering? Tough call. Moonlight fractures through twisted branches, splaying shadow antlers across the dirt. The owl banks hard, wings flaring wide enough to eclipse Orion's belt. Quirky tidbit. Some Attic scrolls claim temple owls pecked at lice-ridden philosopher wigs. Ancient pest control with benefits. You resist the urge to scratch your scalp. Wind rises, carrying the creak of ancient irrigation channels beneath your feet. Water whispers through terracotta pipes, ghost cool against your soles. They don't build aqueducts like they used to, mainly because OSHA frowns on slave labor. The owl hoots once, a sound like blowing across an amphora's rim. Dew seeps through your sandals, each step squelching louder than a Spartan's after gymnasium day. The grove tightens, branches knitting into a tunnel of knuckled wood. Athena's bird pivots, leading you toward a clearing, bathed in low blue light. Your heartbeat sinks to wing beats, or maybe it's just that third cup of symposium wine. Ahead, a fallen trunk sprawls, its splintered core glowing with bioluminescent fungi. The owl alights, talons clicking against petrified sap. Burn marks pock the wood, centuries-old graffiti from oil lamps. You trace a chariot's outline, stick horses mid-gallop. Archaeologists would hyperventilate. You yawn, Horizons blush coral, the owl's feathers drink the color, turning molten. A single berry drops into your palm, bitter as unripe humility. Sacred olives aren't for snacking. Rookie move. You pocket it anyway, future use problem. Birdsong erupts, not the owl, but dawn's chorus of finches and mynas. Athena's envoy tilts its head, golden eyes narrowing. Time's up, buddy. You take the hint. Sunlight licks the grove, shadows retreat like Persian ships at Salamis. The owl vanishes between two heartbeats. Only a downy feather remains, warm as fresh-baked clay. You press it to your ear. Distant waves. Pulse. Maybe both. Olive trees shiver, shedding night's silver for day's dusty green. Cicadas rev up, ancient Greek exhaust fumes. The path ahead fades, crumbling into wild thyme and scree. Some tour don't do return trips. You turn back once, the grove's gone, replaced by sun-bleached hills. That berry in your pocket winks, ripe now, and suspiciously squishy. The feather tickles your palm, final exam from the wisdom goddess. Pass or fail. Check back after espresso. Horizon blurs, gold swallowing azure, stitched with cypress black thread. Heat shimmers, dance like maenads on a bender. Sandals slap stone, your own footsteps, loud as hoplite drums. The owl's cry lingers. Or maybe it's just tinnitus from that all-night Dionysian rave. Shade pools under a lone fig tree, its leaves broad as Spartan shields. You collapse, back against the trunk. The feather molds to your fist, soft, insistent. Above, contrails crisscross the sky, modern jets mocking Icarus. Athena's probably face-palming. Dreams creep in not figments, but memories. Bronze owls blinking in temple rafters. A priestess scowling as you flub the libation chant. The persistent itch of woolen chitons, napalm sense of burning olive logs. You jolt awake, sun now high, ruthless. The feather's gone, so's the berry. Ants march toward a splotch of sticky purple, guilt-free breakfast. You stand, knees popping like amphory in a kiln. Stretch. The path home winks through heat haze, ordinary, dust-choked, magnificent. Athena's owl rides a thermal, wings glinting. One last pivot, a feathered salute. You salute back, then immediately feel dorky. By sundown, your feet find familiar cobblestones, taxis honking where triremes once docked. The owl's feather waits on your pillow, untouched. Well, mostly. The cat's looking suspicious. Moonrise paints your room silver blue. You cradle the gift, so light it could float. Eyes close. The grove returns, deeper this time, roots tangling with subway lines, stars woven through power grids. Athena winks. You snore. Dawn breaks, gold unstoppable, feather dissolved into dust motes. The cat sneezes. Somewhere, an olive tree cracks open one green shoot, reaching for attic sky. A feather brushes your cheek, cool as moonlight, lighter than dawn's first sigh. Olive leaves rustle above, their silver undersides glinting like fish scales in still water. The air hums with sage and salt, a breath from distant waves. Your fingers skim bark ridged like old ropes, sticky sap clinging like forgotten tears. The owl glides soundless, a shadow swallowing stars. Moonlight splinters through twisted branches, painting antler shadows on the ground. Wind stirs. You hear the groan of ancient pipes beneath your feet. Water whispering through clay. Dew soaks your sandals, each step squelching like a rain-soaked sponge. The grove narrows, a tunnel of knotted wood guiding you toward blue-tinged light. A fallen log lies ahead, its cracked core glowing with soft moss. Burn marks dot the wood, centuries-old scribbles from long-dead lamps. You trace a chariot's outline, horses frozen mid-leap. Dawn's first birdsong spills through the trees, finches tuning up as the owl tilts its head. Golden eyes blink once, a dismissal. Sunlight licks the grove, melting shadows into dust. The owl vanishes, only a feather remains, warm as clay fresh from the kiln. Press it to your ear waves. Wind, your own pulse. Olive trees shiver, trading night silver for daytime green. Cicadas buzz like drowsy machinery. The path crumbles behind you, lost to wild thyme and scree. The feather dissolves in your grip, ash-soft, slipping through cracks in your fingers. Your pockets sit empty, no berry, no trinkets. Only sun-bleached hills stretch ahead, heat shimmying like dancers mid-revel. Sandals slap stone, echoing like distant drums. Shade pools beneath a fig tree, its leaves broad and forgiving. You slump against the trunk, eyelids heavy. Dreams flutter in, not visions, but echoes. Bronze owls in temple eaves, smoldering olive logs, a priestess rolling her eyes as you fumble rituals. You wake to noon's glare, harsh and unyielding. Ants march toward a purple stain on the ground, the feathers gone. So is the grove. Only warmth lingers in your palm, a phantom weight. By dusk, city lights blink where triremes once sailed. The owl's feather waits on your pillow, slightly chewed. Moonrise spills through your window, painting the room blue. You drift, the grove folding into subway tunnels and power lines. Stars stitch through concrete. Morning comes, the feather now dust, motes swirling in sunbeams. A breeze sighs through your window. Somewhere, an olive seed cracks open, pushing one green tendril toward the sky. Slow, certain, unseen.